Welcome everybody to MogTalk 132. We are now starting 30 minutes late for this show, and I completely apologize, but we got someone even better than our previous guest on, so I'm not too worried about it. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, by the way, MogTalk is a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community, doing everything, talking about everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And today, before we even start and we get into our topic, which of course is going to be about the live letter, I want you guys to know who we have on the show. First, I'm going to introduce someone who was actually planned to be here before all this went down. Miss Spoofy. Spoofy, how you doing?
Hi there. Well, technically my name is Spoofy, but I also go by Spoofy and streamer and Sophie spelled wrong if you're Frosty. That's me.
Okay.
I stream Final Fantasy XIV every night. We have a very new player focused stream. We focus on the new player experience and helping people out and running old content synced with people and stuff. So that's me.
That's you. What do you got behind you, Spoofy?
Let me reveal.
All right.
I don't know. Did it show it? Did it show it? The seal? Okay, yeah, good.
You got it.
That's the best minion in the game.
It's pretty good. I don't know. I'm partial to I can't ever say his name right. Grinwald, the guy from the storyline. You know, all his name days come at the same time. Come at once.
Oh, like the little
yeah, the chainsaw guy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's awesome, man. All right. Now to present our savior of another co-guest here on the show, someone who came in very last minute, 5 to 10 minutes after the show was supposed to start, because our other guest, Mr. Arthars, has not responded. MIA, likely taken out by his replacement. Mr. Pookajutsu, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, it's good to be on.
Yeah. Tell everybody who you are, Pook, just so they know who you are.
I am Pookajutsu. I am a community-focused, interactive streamer here on Twitch every single day.
Every single goddamn day. I wake up to stream this.
Nobody knows what that's like. Every single day.
Yeah, we're both daily streamers. Daily streamers podcast.
I stream a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. It's kind of my main game, but I also dabble in Super Mario Odyssey speedruns.
You know, I've seen that for quite a bit now, and that's actually really interesting to see you getting into that. Or how are you right now in your speed times versus the other racers out there?
I only have 6 completed runs in, and I am 500th in the world right now.
That's not bad.
So it's I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to shave another 20 minutes off the run before.
That's not too bad.
Yeah,
you got that.
You got that in no time.
Yeah. All right, and of course, Arthars, we have a window for him just in case if he does show up or decide that he wants to be on the podcast today. Everybody's like, why not make Arthars your co-host, guys? Just make him your co-host. He's been on a lot of shows. Make him your co-host. There you go, man. Doesn't show up. It's okay. But today, the scheduled show, we were going to talk about the live letter. There's a lot of things to talk about the live letter, and we're just going to get on that. We're not going to linger on hating Arthars. We'll hold that off until he actually gets on the show, if he does show up. But otherwise, I want to actually get into that, because there's a lot of stuff that I saw that was interesting about it. But the first thing, before we get too far into it, when we do a show, a podcast on the live letter, this is something that I'm always curious about. I'm like, what do we really care about in a live letter? We've been playing this game for how long now? 3 years?
It's longer.
Yeah. For me, 3.
Yeah, 3? Okay. So how many patches have we gone through? I would say enough, maybe 10, 15?
That was actually my initial thought when staying up for this live letter is the formula is still the same.
Yeah.
That was actually my initial takeaway from it. It's there's a lot of good stuff that we found out, but the formula is still the same.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I mean, like, you get dungeons. I mean, it slightly changes. You get your dungeon update. You get your raid content update, whether it's a large raid content. I mean, Ultimate was the big, like, surprising factor from the last patch, which happened at, like, I think 0.18, right?
Right. And it's supposed to be Eureka this time around, but they still won't tell us anything about it other than we haven't done it before. And I'm just like, I guess that makes me feel apprehensive because we have no way of knowing, is this something we can positively look forward to? Or, is, you know, because they're afraid to say anything about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they used like the leading language, like we're aiming for it by 4.25 is a little, I don't know. I kind of don't trust that. The aiming.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's something, I mean, I hope they're being careful about it because I don't think too many people want to see another Diadem. I mean, when Diadem came out, it was you know, it was cool. It was like, oh, dinosaurs, there's monsters and everything. Lasted one day before people figured out, oh, you just go to this one island, you sit there and you farm it all day. And then, like, it sucks. It's not that much. It's not really fun in any way. It's just what they were intending for it to be, the players would not let it happen.
Right. Yeah.
And so we have to see if that's going to be the same thing with Eureka. I mean, I don't know. When we're looking at the patch notes, I never care about dungeons, so I never really want to talk about them. I'm like, whatever. We get a new dungeon. It's cool the first couple of times, and it becomes the same thing over and over. I'm glad they make them. I'm glad we get new dungeons, but it's never a highlight for me. When these patch notes happen, the highlights are the things that don't happen every single patch. And so
I love dungeons because it means new dungeon music.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's good things about dungeons, but yeah, it's hard to like get hype before you even like. There's not much to get hype about because you know what it's kind of, you know, the formula, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 3 bosses. It's not going to be overly challenging. It's going to
And
every day.
The things that I get excited about, of course, is the raid content, which we got no real information about.
Sigma Scape. We got the name.
Got the name.
So let's go ahead and hit this though. Sigma Scape is Omega Sigma Scape, Omega Delta Scape. You think they're gonna do Sigma Scape V1, Sigma Scape V2, and so the official abbreviation has to be O5S to O8S, right? There's no way around it.
Right. It's gonna be
Yeah. It's done, guys.
Yeah.
The debate's over. I called it way back when. Get over yourself. V's out, D's out. You got O.
Right. It's 05 through 08 makes the most sense because otherwise you're calling it S1S.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, that would be weird if you like changed the lettering. People will probably still like. Even so, I could see people calling it V5, even if it says, because you know how like second coil was like second coil turn 1. People still called it T5, you know.
Yeah.
So
those people are just holding on to something that shouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now I wonder because we called them T because of turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just kind of made up.
Now
Like
we're using Omega, so we're using O. But what if somebody starts calling it V5S? Because
who would do that? Who's a crazy person? Come on. If one of you guys do it, I'm gonna be pissed off.
I raid on Primal. Trust me, this stuff happens.
Oh, I've had my own experiences with Primal. I grew up on Primal. Man, I get mad so easily. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Primal players in general, but I just recently had some feast interactions with Primal players, and I was very upset about it, which has nothing to do with what you guys will care to talk about. But I gotta say, come on, guys. Step up your game.
Yeah, there you go. Anyone want to do S1S to cap some men? We'll get to that.
cap some men.
How do you guys feel about? No, let's just hit it. How do you guys feel about it?
Mendacity?
Yeah, Mendacity.
The first thing I said during the live letter when it was announced, like I was just shouting this in chat. I was like, "This is my patch. This is my day." Like, what a world we live in that I get to grind men, and I'll be able to proclaim that I have grinded men enough to get a ring.
I'm like the person who like always calls tomestones by their full name. Like I don't usually abbreviate them. So when I saw Mendacity and someone made the joke about farming men, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean farming men? And they were like, get it? The no tombstone. I was like, oh. So I'm just gonna be the weirdo that's like, guys, let's go get some mendacity.
Are we gonna have anybody among us calling the tombstones a fake news since mendacity is lies? I saw that going around too. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you one thing though. I just sigh every time someone like intentionally goes out of their way to make like some sort of like sexual pun or something, right? So, for example, like Shiva Extreme. Yeah. I thought that was just horrible. I could barely bear through it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just like it's just like, come on, guys. I just want to go kill Shiva. I don't want to have a joke about him. Like I don't want to even join this party finder because it's like, does anyone wants to do sex? Come on, guys, let's do sex.
Yeah. Like, and see that actually, I can't even comment on that too much because that was a running thing in my stream with Bismarck. Sex became bisex.
Yeah. Come on, Pook.
Yeah. It was a thing.
All right.
Hey, don't even get me started on Hawk Manor. The jokes around that.
Hawk Manor, I don't know if I heard that joke.
It might be a little too much.
Too much for stream. Okay.
I'll just let people fill in the blanks for themselves, you know?
Okay.
You really haven't heard that before?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
You've never heard someone be like, let's do Bukkake Manor. Like, they say like it's like hockey. Yeah, I've heard so many people say that.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a stretch, man.
Wow, maybe I hang around some weird people.
It's completely possible. Yeah.
Apparently, I thought that was like a thing.
Twitch chat, she's calling you out.
Yeah, Twitch chat's a bunch of weirdos, man. What? Who makes these kind of jokes, man? I didn't even know what that. To be honest with you, I didn't even know what that meant until like a couple of years ago. I don't think anyone actually knew until a couple of years ago, though, right? Right? Except for the really crazy people.
Oh, crazies.
Okay, all right. So yeah, dungeons, for example. While we were talking about that. They don't seem that interesting when I do a dungeon. I feel bad because I know they put a lot of work into it. But at the same time, it's just like, that's really cool, nice. Now let's get on to the real meat of things, which always turns into be raiding. And this one hopefully is Eureka, right? The big crazy thing that we have like barely any information on. So all the stuff I really care about, I like got almost nothing on.
Like the thing is that with the dungeons, it's like, okay, we know these. They could give us any name for a dungeon, and we can kind of speculate what a dungeon is.
Yeah, I mean everyone's like excited. I mean, I think a lot of people are excited about Fractal because Fractal's cool. I love
Fractal was I wept every time I actually properly got Fractal in that roulette because it was Fractal and Never Reap.
I hope we get a banging remix of the Fractal music.
It's another reason to get another remix of the Azus Law theme.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Like I've turned into a kind of jaded person who only really cares about new and interesting little situations. Like if I haven't capped my tombstones in like months. I haven't done an expert in months.
The experts kind of, I don't know. I like the current dungeons, to be honest. Like the 70 dungeons right now. I'm always hoping that we'll get a dungeon that does something different. Like I know everyone like got into Bardom's Metal and was like, oh my gosh, there's something different. And it was like so exciting.
That's the hype it's like, yeah, you don't even DPS the first boss. What?
I like got over that pretty quickly, but I'm hoping maybe we'll get something like, I don't know, different at some point.
All right, different as in like how would you say different? So, spoofy. Sorry, spoofy.
Spoofy. I could see them implementing some sort of like actual like puzzle situation or something to a dungeon that's not just like kill group of mobs, kill boss, kill group of mob. Like they could do anything, you know? So I always like wait for that sort of stuff, and we haven't been getting much like differences, but
Right, and like I think a prime example of a dungeon where they tried to do something different with it was when people were really begging for bosses that didn't follow set patterns, and they gave us Stone Vigil Hard. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a vehicle fight and then a boss that can't be tanked.
That was the weirdest situation for me as a
Yeah.
tank going in there. I'm like, well, I guess I just don't have to care about these 2 bosses, really. I just DPS it.
You only tank the trash and the first boss. Everything else is just like, eh. And I ended up not liking that dungeon, but I think the idea of like putting like puzzles in dungeons could be cool if there was a way for them to randomize the puzzles.
Yeah.
No?
Even if it was like, I don't know, we have like some differences, but they always feel like flavor differences, like in Scala right now, where you like transform into the thing and like go across the ditch, but that doesn't actually really do anything. You just like do it. It's kind of funny when someone gets heavied and then they fall, and I've done that. So that's funny. Little things like that amuse me.
What was that? What was that one boss that like you could turn around and kill people with? It was like all the little Exali guys or whatever.
You mean
the fans and
Zelfatol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best boss they've ever introduced to the game. I mean, like, how could you like not like that?
Yeah. I mean, when I think about it, like when I think about bosses that are like different, I don't know, we're like completely going into like other dungeons now too. But like I think about like that Yeti or whatever in Snowcloak, like that's cute, right? Like I don't know. They could come up with little things like that.
Right. I was gonna say that my favorite thing to do in Scala when people are transformed and flying over pits is last person and over voice chat just go, wait, come back.
And then they fall. Oh yeah, that's funny.
Turn back and they don't have the debuff.
Did that ever work?
Yes,
it is
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You just have to spring it on somebody when they're not paying attention.
Oh my god. I've never even thought of that. I just did it once. I was like, oh, that's cool. Figured it out in half a second and just never thought about it again. But no, you guys are more creative at killing people than I am.
Your favorite boss in 14 was pretty sloppy.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if I can.
No, I mean it was an okay boss. I wish they would have more what they've already said is that they're not going to do more dungeons of the one that I really liked, that everyone liked, that was heralded as like one of the best dungeons that they had in like difficulty wise and everything else. I can't remember the name of it, of course, but it's with all the different knights that are around. You're going through. It's like one of the last dungeons in Heaven's Ward.
The vault.
The vault, yeah, the vault, right? That was the best dungeon that they've created in difficulty-wise, too. But they said, oh, it's too difficult. We can't do that. I'm like, what's your gauge on difficulty? Like,
was it really that? I don't.
The last boss was just hard for a lot of people to do.
It's still to this day. It's like, yeah, I would get that in a level in roulette, and it's just like, oh.
I love it. I love the fact that I go into a dungeon. There's going to be some challenge to it, and I'm not going to brainlessly go through it.
I think Vault hits the same place that you hit in either Doma Castle or Castrum Abania, where you run into the tank that is still wearing the Shire gear.
That's part of the challenge, Pook.
No, I went in there as the tank wearing the Shire gear.
Yeah, that's always me.
And brought a healer who was also still wearing the Shire gear. Just to see.
And you overcome it. And if you don't, then someone else comes in and they help you overcome it.
We did, but that was a time. That was a time. That made that dungeon difficult.
Oh, well. I don't know. I feel like it's worth it if there's even like zero, if there's just like 1% of the population can't clear a dungeon, I'm okay with it. I'm like, 99% of people can clear it, just 1% of the people can't clear it, even with bad gear and just everything else. Maybe they'll figure it out, and they're like, you know what, I get this dungeon, I hate it. How can I make my life not suck? Oh, I gotta press an extra button. I have to hit cooldowns. Alright, great. That has taught these players, when they go into higher level dungeons at higher level raids, basic mechanics of the game. I don't know. That's just me.
I'm still one of the few people that actually likes Ormvale. I
don't. Oh, yeah,
of course. I want Ormvale hard. That'd be cool.
I like Ormvale. I do.
That teaches people not to pull an entire room.
Yeah, the only troubles I've had in Ormvale were people that were learning how to play, and I'm normally patient with that because I get stuck with new players all the time. That's kind of what happens, how I get matched. So it's something I've come to. But like when somebody actually took and they figured it out, Ormvale was just it wasn't a cakewalk, but it was fun.
Man, this whole conversation was just be like, man, I don't care about dungeons, and then we just had this whole like wonderful conversation about dungeons.
Pook and I care a lot about dungeons.
Like, dungeons are 99% of what I do on my stream.
True. Okay.
Yeah, I do dungeons too.
Investment in them. Like it's...
I mean, you guys do have a different point of view than I do. Like I don't do a daily stream or anything. I used to raid log and come on in PvP, and that's all I did in my free time. You guys go through Final Fantasy every single day, and so these are things that you guys see every single day. So I didn't actually think about this, but yeah, you guys have a much different point of view than I do, and I'm glad that now that Arthas didn't come, so I have both you guys here to discuss this. So
yeah, we could probably talk about dungeons for a while.
Okay.
Pook.
we'll get off dungeons for now though. Just because I want to go into some of these other. There's so much to talk about that we have to kind of pick and choose what we want to talk about. And so I do want to hit a lot of things that are just like new. For example, the first thing they did, like I didn't understand anything that was going on. I thought they were going to show a video of Yoshi P clearing O4S. And I was like, this is awesome. I would love to see Yoshi P clear O4S. And then they were just showcasing something that was even more interesting, which was the replay feature.
They did actually say later on that's actually the replay of his team downing it. They
just really?
Finished it. Yeah.
Okay.
They said that's the replay they were using, and I'm just like,
did they show the full thing?
No.
Bullshit.
They just said it was. So they're like, no. Like,
I want to see his FF log on that.
Pics or it didn't happen.
I want to see FF logs, man.
So I guess we want to talk about
the replay,
replay, the record.
What do you guys feel about having a replay? Like, this is not something I was ever like, oh man, I wish I had a record feature in here. But that's because I stream and
yeah, exactly. It's hard to see it from the perspective of someone who doesn't stream.
If it's more responsive than Twitch's VOD system,
okay, maybe.
Then maybe. That being said, I just got back into raiding. I stopped raiding during Gordius, and I came back 3 weeks ago and just started raiding. We're working on O3 right now.
Okay, nice.
And I don't personally see a use for it because it's too limited. Mm-hmm. Like the immediate thought that came to mind was if we're working on progression, we could just hit the button and go back and review what happened in that pull.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, you've got to hop out of the instance, go to the end room, load up the video, watch it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so you have to go back to the end room to look. So I think the only real cool thing about it is, again, they're kind of catering towards people who want to do a video editing. The content
That's going to be a big part of it, yeah. That's going to be a big part of it.
Because they got group pose and everything else going on with it, but I don't know if...
Yes, currently right now it only works in the in-room. If they expand it outside of the in-room, then it would be great. And you can only keep 3 recordings right now, but the recordings are the entire 90-minute segment that you're inside.
Mm-hmm. So you got to search a little bit. Well, you actually just go to the end of it where you cleared it, I guess. But I listen if you're looking for like a certain one where you messed up or something, maybe.
Yeah, and trying to understand what happened on the last pull. I suppose you can always skip to the end and then start backwards.
It could be nice for, you do a full raid night and then you can go look at it afterwards, maybe.
And for the people like on PlayStation, or people who, I guess the people who just don't have access to VODs in some way.
Yeah, because what I understand is it's not an actual like video recording, so there's a lot of things they haven't been able to do with it yet. It's a series of instructions that the server received during that run. So it basically recreates it as if it's like making a cutscene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. So that's the other part, technically looking at it, where it's doing that. Okay, that's cool. But like, how accurate is that?
Right, how accurate is it? They said they couldn't do slow mo because of that yet, because of everything is built around the 2.4 whatever second GCD.
Yeah, and on your screen with the latency involved, it's gonna be the replay's gonna look different than what you actually saw yourself.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I wonder how that's going to be like, because replaying things is so weird in this game, especially when you have like a bunch of different people running at different latencies as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be cool for the rant, especially if you could, if they let you apply G-pose filters to it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
It would be like, it'd be like, okay, here's X Death's perspective on us kicking his face in.
Yeah,
like that it could be good for that sort of thing. But
I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of neat. Honestly, where I would hear like the best use out of it is, and this is from my perspective as someone who plays PvP. You guys know who Day 9 is?
Yeah.
And people would send him VODs, which was actually the same thing. They would it wasn't actually like video recordings. They were replays. They were files that were replays. And they would send that to him, and he could overview and go through it and see different perspectives and analyze everything that happened in the game. That would be really cool from like a raider perspective or a PvP perspective if you need to do some sort of detailed analysis. But I don't know. It's so hard to get that to even happen because you need consent.
Right, you need consent from everybody in the party before you can record.
Yeah.
There's like a consent ready check.
And you can't do it in Duty Finder.
And you can't do it in Duty Finder. So you can't be having anybody sub in for you or anything like that. You've got to be, well, unless you're, you know what I mean?
You have to be in a party, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I mean, it makes sense because you would already kind of have an idea. Like, hey, guys, are you okay with me recording? And then you just have them reconfirm it after you go in there. But it just sucks because it feels so limited. It feels like, why are we being so safe about this? Why do we care?
It's the same reason why we have the quick chat in Feast for some reason, but now they open Rival Wings up, and Rival Wings you can say whatever you want. I don't know. Stop.
Yeah, like, okay, we got to be safe about that. We got to be safe about, people playing music. We go through all these different legal, like, they have lawyers just in the background, and they're like, we don't want harassment charges. We don't want any of these charges. We are putting red tape around all this stuff. We are safe, guys. Nothing ever is going to happen where anyone's going to be upset or sue us or complain in any way.
I think there's an issue, and this is a tangent here, but I think there's an issue when they play it so carefully that they start to restrict gameplay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's law. Do you think maybe there's some law in another country that is actually affecting this too? Is like like in Japan, do you have to be a lot more safe about this stuff, or?
No, I just honestly think they don't want to deal with the influx of complaints because that does take man-hours.
It. I think that, I don't know, maybe the whole like needing, like, if you're in a full party you still need consent for everyone takes it all too far. I will say that, like, a lot of, well, I'm not saying I like the fact that you can't chat and feast and all that stuff. I think that there is something to say for the level of moderation they go to and the community in general being seen as nicer than maybe some other communities. And I think maybe there is a positive effect, a correlation.
Yeah.
Some of the, I mean, because I could see people, there are people all the time that will join you in Party Finder and then you like screw up and they'd be messaging you like, I have the recording right here. Like, like they would do that probably. I could see that happening. I don't know.
That is a good thing. A good point too, Goddess. Actually, is the matter.
That's
of
beautiful to you, Pook.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
It's beautiful, not Goddess. It's beautiful.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I worship at the altar of beautiful. Then how about we'll say that?
Okay. But yeah, no, they had a good point there. Like, yeah, there is legal consent there, but there's so many games who don't have those same restrictions, right?
Right. Nobody's coming down on somebody for Twitch streaming in the same groups that these people are already in, which is also a recording.
Mm-hmm.
It's this. You know how they put in the new license agreement when you have to click when you unlock perform that says I'm not going to use this to make stuff I shouldn't be making with it. That's what it is.
Liable,
and that should have been the same thing with recording, right? You just say when you in the game is in the terms of service, hey, you can't record people without their knowledge and gain anything out of it. And it's just part of the terms of service. You don't need them to confirm consent every single time.
And
that's a safety thing for just players. That's all it is.
I'm more against quick chat here. Like I said, the record feature doesn't really. I'm going to sound bad. It doesn't really impact me in any way.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me if they want to, if I get the pop-up that says, can I record? Okay, fine. I mean, you're already putting
They say no. I'm like, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm already streaming you.
Yeah, I'm live right now. So
Yeah, it seems it would be a bit weird because it feels like people could just say no just to be like an asshole about it, you know? I think like it'd be nice for there to be like some like if I'm in a party and someone is using that, it'd be cool if there was like a little corner that somebody is recording, you know, like you know that they're doing it.
Yeah, I definitely think this is coming along from the same culture of the same reasons why they don't want to put a damage meter in.
Yeah, same thing. Feast chat's gone.
Because everybody's been like, you could just consent to having your damage recorded by other people. I think maybe they're trying that out.
I hope to God, but I doubt it. I can't.
That would be cool, though. You're right.
It would be cool. But I can't see them doing it. I just can't see. Like, they are Square. That's the only downside I have with Square Enix right now. It's just that they play it too safe with players' emotions and feelings and everything else that, like, they ruin part of the gameplay. To me, part of my gameplay is telling someone they're a piece of shit. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm being robbed of that.
Frosty, I would like to present to you your new MogTalk quick chat options.
You're no longer able to talk.
Yeah, you're completely banned from quick chat. You can't even do it anymore. You're making loops. I don't know. I wonder.
He's trying to host a show over there. Nice job. Nice job.
Nice job.
Nice job.
We have
nice job.
A list of approved questions you can ask us.
Okay. All right. Spoofy, your hair looks really nice. How did you do that?
Nice job.
Nice job.
Nice job.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
That's all
I'm sensitive about my hair. Hello? Don't talk about it. Oh, God. Feast chat, that will never go away from being a conversation with PvP.
Well, and there's PvP updates coming, and I was like, nowhere in those PvP updates did they say these ranked teams are going to be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I was like,
so ranked PvP they can talk. I'm pretty sure they're going to implement that just because I see custom
really
matches.
So.
Custom matches you can talk. So if you can talk in custom matches, I assume that you can talk in that. It would be stupid.
And even though we don't have modding or an API we can use, and that's really sad, Square Enix, I hate that we still haven't gotten any of that.
Yeah,
I would really like some Discord integration for PvP.
Well, it's really just going to that Discord.
Right, now you go to a server, but like there are games where like when you join a new match, there's a button in the game you click that'll automatically put you in a call with the people that are on your team.
Yeah,
and then it ends when the match is over,
and that would be awesome.
Like, yeah,
I mean, they used to do this. Again, I'm not going to hit PvP too much here, just because I would be a one-sided conversation. But like with Feast, people would go into if they're in the Discord, they would go into a voice chat with anyone that was on their team. But I was actively against that because I felt like that created an unfair advantage against the other team, who obviously they would have to be just as coordinated, get into a Feast chat, and whoever was just able, who knew about the community and everything else and could go in there, would join in. So whoever had the most people in voice chat could win. And I felt like that was kind of unfair. So since then, it's kind of died down a good bit, at least with solo queue. But anyways, let's go past that a little bit. I just want to say that what they're doing with the restrictions with recording seems like the feature's just going to die. It's not going to be a feature. Like, they put in work to it, and there's just not going to be a lot of use out of it. Except for
a lot of use. Demo will find.
Yeah, Demo. Demo's going to find a way to use it, and Demo's going to make use out of it. Drac as well, I'm sure. They will go out there and they'll have fun with the replay, and that's all it is content creation, which is cool. I'm glad they're supporting it, but it really needs to be just termed under content creation updates.
But it also feels like something that's in its infancy. Maybe they can actually expand it somehow. I don't know.
We can hope.
DPS
meters, consent. Let's do it, guys.
It feels sort of like they're trying to add some sort of like, I guess like UI or like technical addition in every few patches or something. Cause like we know we got like the simplification of job gauges and like stuff like that. I just feel like we get one of those like every other patch or every patch or something.
Basically the PS3 died for our sins.
Good.
Yeah.
My PS3 exists only so I can play PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games on it. Because
right, backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
Hello?
I got the last one that was able to do that, and I feel pretty proud of myself for it. Okay, all right, let's get away from replay. Let's get away from it a little bit. We have a lot of other things, tons of things to talk about. Like, the one thing I want to hit that I think people, you know what, all this stuff, everything that we talk about today will be like in the shade, also to the side compared to like people and them announcing FanFest, right? That's the thing. We all care about FanFest. And Pook doesn't care about FanFest. He doesn't care.
Don't travel.
I got you. I understand. But so
I already met Sophie. I'm good.
there you go.
Let's do FanFest at Pook's house next year.
Fuck it. Yeah, why not?
The entirety.
The entirety of the FanFest.
Like,
There's the Vegas location, the EU location, and the Pook's house location.
just screw Japan. It doesn't matter.
I am Japan. That's the running joke in my stream. So PookCon.
PookCon. We can do that, dude. Why not? But I don't know. FanFest to me, like, it's always the thing. I just immediately start caring about Final Fantasy more. As soon as they announce FanFest, like,
because you've got the sense of community again. Like, I know FanFest is really huge for that, and it gets exciting to get back together and be like, oh yeah, these are all these other people that I love in a way, and we all love the game. Whether or not we spend days bitching about it, we still love it. We bitch about it because we do love it.
You get to talk about it with the people. You get to have a conversation face to face with the people who bitch about it with you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a new expansion announcement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
that's the immediate oh yeah, we are reaching that time again already.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way.
We'll see how that turns out. I know they have to do it. It's just their way to make it in a FanFest exciting, and it's the first one. We throw the expansion out there, then they give other stuff to all the other ones. But
yeah, we'll never get a job announcement in an NA FanFest.
Yeah,
it's just never happen.
They'll give us a hint.
Last year they just said like Stormblood, right? But he was wearing the samurai outfit. Was that what happened?
No, it was a crimson witch or something shirt.
He was wearing the Scarlet Witch shirt.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's like, oh yeah, Red Mage. And then
overly obvious, right? There's so it was kind of an announcement. And then the samurai, both of those jobs were completely expected the entire time with all the hints they've given. I don't know. It's always fun. I don't care if they literally had a empty room with just tables and chairs everywhere and did nothing. FanFest would still be amazing. That's how sad I guess I am for social interaction with all of my peers that play this game.
Well, I mean, the people make the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I Final Fantasy 14 is pretty.
Yeah.
But if the people weren't there, I wouldn't be playing it. For
sure. Yeah.
I think that's the appeal of MMOs in general to a lot of people, though, Yeah. So
people all nerding out about Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy 14 is a huge just nostalgia MMO. And so we're all just sitting there saying, oh, we love Final Fantasy. Although some people play this game, never played a Final Fantasy before. I don't know.
Who would do something like that? That's ridiculous.
That's really weird.
That would be really weird. It's a good MMO on its own. There's not many good MMOs out there. What can I say?
That direction.
Yeah, I just imagine the swords going straight up. You just got stabbed by Pook, by the way, Spoofy.
I actually lined it up so that it went to the side of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't. Well, I'm almost done with Final Fantasy X now, but that was after having Final Fantasy 14 is basically my first Final Fantasy. So for those who want context on that.
Crazy. That is absolutely insane, because the appeal for most people playing this game is that it's Final Fantasy. It's not that it's an MMO. It's an MMO that does Final Fantasy. So it's so crazy, because I think Miztech was like that as well. And a couple other people that I talked to, they're like, yeah, this is the first interaction I've really had with Final Fantasy. If you grow up playing video games, you know what Final Fantasy is.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think I played 7 when I was like young, but like I got like to some part an hour in where I got lost and I put it down. I don't really say I played it because I don't remember it.
It's one of those games you play when you're a child. You're like, I'm pressing buttons, and then you just like, all right, nothing's working. I'm gone because I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got lost. I got tired of running into things, and
I've gone back to try to play 7 a few times, and there was a lot of childhood nostalgia that made 7 good. But there are better Final Fantasies.
7 is good. It's just, for me, it's hard to play just because the graphics are so hard to adjust to right now. Like, that's the biggest thing. I can't play it because if I go into it, I'm like, I don't know what's happening on the screen. They're like little crystal polygon things moving around, and I can kind of make out what's happening half the time. I don't know. My eyes just can't adjust to it anymore.
I like 10.
Yeah, I've been liking 10.
10's okay. That's the only one that I got to the very last boss and stopped playing for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't beat it. I don't know why, but I was like on the very last boss, and I guess other things in life came up, and I was just like, I'm just not going to go back to it. But I went through a lot of it. It was okay. It wasn't bad. I like 9 better. I liked 8 better. I like 7 better. I like 6 better. So
I wish I had played 11 back when it was like actually, and it was the time when it was a game and people were playing it a lot. I know some people still play
when it was a game, when it was a game at some point.
I just mean like back when it was, the relevant Final Fantasy MMO. Because like it's weird going back. It just feels like without the nostalgia, it just feels like an older MMO.
It just doesn't. Like I played some of it with Mary, and it was enjoyable because Mary was enjoying it.
Yeah.
But like
exactly.
I tried to poke at it otherwise, and I'm just like, nah, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I hear people talk about a lot of 11 stuff in 14, and I'm like, I wish I had the context for some of that. It's like, oh look, they're using that monster model from 11, and I'm like, okay, or hey, as the notes, as the show notes say. The white tiger thing.
Yeah, the new primals. I wish I had that like that contextual nostalgia, but
yeah, the white tiger. Let's talk about. So let's actually get into some of the juice of the announcement here with the things that I guess we care about more.
Doing a little bit of a segue.
The perfect segue there, Pook.
The white tiger thing.
The white tiger thing.
Byakko.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting that they're doing the same kind of grouped trial thing that they did in, I guess, Heavensward, right? Where they had the triad. Now they have the 4 primals, the 4, what did they call it? The 4 lords?
Yeah, the 4 lords. Yeah.
And so that's going to be kind of interesting to get into. I guess hopefully they keep the same Stormblood Weebish theme to it, right? Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be really weird to beat a tiger and have it drop a dog.
Yeah.
But
I guess so.
Who am I kidding? That dog will never drop.
Yeah.
That's true.
Probably won't get it anyways. Don't worry about it, Pook. But I don't know. They didn't really show us too much on there. They just gave us a picture, right?
Right. Yeah. Just a picture. And they were like, yeah, this is also available in Extreme. And I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Really? Amazing.
How bad would it be if they were like, this is just a story primal. There's no Extreme primal this bad.
They did something like that, but it wasn't the main it wasn't the main primal or whatever. What was it? The one where he stomped around and you got Tower Kens and everything. Everyone hated it because people messed up all the time. And Heavensward, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Are you talking about like the final steps? Like
Steps of Faith. Steps of Faith.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh,
that was like a trial. That was a story thing, though, right? It wasn't really.
No, you mean actual Steps of Faith, not Final Steps. Okay, I thought. Oh,
yeah, sorry, I meant Final. Or sorry, I meant just Steps of Faith.
Yeah.
Vishap.
Yeah.
Vishap. Yeah. So. That was released that was the main story though, right? That wasn't like that was released when the expansion was released, wasn't it?
But so was like the Royal Menagerie, but then after that, wouldn't that have been weird if instead of Thoradin we got Vishap Extreme? Oh, yay.
Oh god.
Just like Shinru.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be up for that, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I don't know what Vishap Extreme would be, but I'm not sure I want to see it.
It would walk faster.
Walk faster.
Well,
Yeah,
real
it was
fast.
2.55. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know why I thought it was in 3.0. Thinking back, it was 2.55.
Well, the one thing to talk about Mr. White Tiger here, all right, is that you had the triad. We all kind of knew what was coming up with the triad, right? Do we know what's coming up with the Four Lords because of Final Fantasy 11? No.
We know the names and what they're
Yeah, they gave the names.
the general gist of what they'll look like because they're based on Japanese mythology. They're the four directional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have sort of an idea. But for
they're
So
someone,
those are all
they're
all
on that
bosses from
fancy-
11, right? Like
yeah, they're
all-
also that, and they're on the fancy world map. You know, the map where they showed Tome and Hingashi when you travel over there, like the cloth map.
mm-hmm.
They're actually drawn in on it. Like they're on that one.
So what is it? It's tiger, and then what else? I'm guessing dragon, right? Is there a
Yeah,
dragon?
I mean,
Dragon is one of them.
Okay. All right.
It's
You can do it, Pook.
there's a turtle.
Turtle! That would be amazing!
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here on the half shell, bring it back.
And a phoenix. That's right.
And a phoenix, okay.
Okay.
Which is going to be really interesting considering where Phoenix is in our.
Yeah, how would they play that into the storyline? We need Ethis on here to discuss this, I think.
It's just a different phoenix. Don't worry about it.
Just a different thing. I guess there's only one phoenix, though, right? It's close to
Yeah,
our
yeah.
heart. We relate everything to that phoenix, and so
Yeah, it's Suzaku or Suzaku or whatever. How the heck do you ever say it? It's a bird.
it's a bird.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll just go
Exactly.
bird then. Bird, dragon, turtle. All right. You guys feel excited about that in any means at all? I mean, like I had a general excitement about Triad, but
I mean I like Trials. I still haven't done
I do
Shinryu
too.
though. I haven't stepped in there. I've been hesitant.
what do you guys think the turtle music's going to be? I'm excited right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's gonna be Vanilla Ice. That's
Vanilla
what
Ice?
it's gonna be. It's gonna be Vanilla Ice.
It's good. The Ice Ice Baby song?
Yeah, well, remember he also did the Ninja Turtle song.
Oh, the Ninja
Go Ninja Go. Yeah, it's gonna be Vanilla Ice.
There's the turtle is gonna do some sort of spinning like all around and
goddamn turtle spin every single time.
turtle. It's got to spin.
Every single time they put a turtle in this game, it has to spin for some reason.
Roms, I
Just-
could
just-
see them doing that with phase one being like nostalgia music, and then the second phase being an individual theme, kind of like they did with the Warring Triad.
And then we need some hardcore like Power Man 5000 thing, right? That we
Well,
go
like,
ahead-
it's like how many genres of music have we not touched yet? Is one of them going to have a ska theme?
yeah.
That's true.
Like with bad rhythm and like just all over the place, like freestyle ska jazz or whatever. And like that's part of the challenge is that like you can't sync up with the fight because the music's all over the place and it doesn't make any sense. I'd be down for that. I don't know. All right, so we don't have a lot of information on that. We don't have a lot of information on Scape. It could be any boss,
No.
and that's the scary thing too, right? Like we really have no idea. Before we were like robots, okay, that makes sense. But now it's what?
It's we don't have a theme. Omega can literally be anything. That's actually the point of Omega.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it can create anything. So we don't have a theme to it. It's like, well, we've had our Final Fantasy V.
It'll be some other Final Fantasy, right? Probably.
Yeah, will
I
it be
mean,
another set of 4 bosses from another Final Fantasy? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sephiroth? Are we gonna
Probably.
put Sephiroth in the game? Are they gonna bail out on that?
I really want to see a Seymour fight with the element wheels. I think that would make an amazing MMO fight. That's what I really want. We won't see it, but I want it.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna run out of ideas eventually, right? Or they're gonna run out of references from Final Fantasies. They're just gonna like, we've hit every single thing. Now we have to start repeating it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
they could.
That's another
eventually.
reason why they're going to be hesitant on bringing things in. Yeah.
But I said this before in a previous show. Let's take it a little bit away from the Final Fantasy universe and start introducing other Square Enix games like Chrono Trigger and so and so. Who
Kingdom
cares? It's same IP. Disney, yeah, we'll turn Disney bosses.
Scape is Mickey Mouse. There you go. Enjoy.
That would be absolutely insane if he like you go into the last boss and all of a sudden this dark cloak Mickey Mouse jumps down with his keyblade or whatever. It's like,
we were kind of talking about that today because I was actually streaming Kingdom Hearts today, and instead of a trash wave between bosses or like trash that having to do with trash, you just have to pilot a gummy ship.
That would be more interesting.
It would. People would be really bad at it.
Yeah, I kind of miss like them forcing you to do like ads and other things before a boss. I don't know. Like I feel like they've kind of copped out on that a little bit. Like if you do Savage right now, and you don't have to do the puzzle. You know what the most? I'm just sidetracking on O3S right now. Why don't I have to do that stupid puzzle in the desert in Savage?
Right.
That's what I said, but then everybody in my chat was like, "No, that'd be terrible. Like you're stupid. Don't."
I would love it with some kind of complication. Like there's okay, you are all in there, and you'll have to navigate towards the middle because there's a mob you have to kill before you can exit.
Oh gosh.
And then you exit.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Faust just drops down in the middle.
Yeah, it's just a Faust. This is another Faust. I've been notified that I'm supposed to inform you, and I've seen this, but I wasn't gonna say anything about it. That my name is misspelled.
Fuck it. I forgot the A.
Pookajutsu.
I forgot the A, man. Pookajutsu. Hey, I was doing it in a rush, man.
Time
Let me just borrow one of Arthur's A's. Can I just borrow one of his? He's not using them right now.
Yeah.
Just bring it over.
Yeah, hold on. We got it. Hold on. I'm gonna do it right now. We're gonna take an A from Arthas, and then we're gonna add it to yours. It's gonna take me 2 seconds.
You just need to grab that Twitch channel, Pook, and have like a little background that says, "This is twitch.tv/Pookajutsu. Please redirect."
Yeah. All right, hold on. We take that A away, put it right over here, and then I got to move it just a little bit. We're doing this mid-show, man, because we're super professional here at MogTalk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Okay, hold on. Almost saved. Once we're saved, we'll get back off this tangent. Save, export. Do you guys use GIMP at all? Or am I the only person in the world?
I haven't used GIMP in a bit. I've been using Paint.net, but GIMP is better.
I just got used to it. Did we do it? Yeah, I got it. All right, it's changed. We're good. We're good, guys. We're good. All right, so past this. All right, those are two things I really care about. No information. Eureka, I really care about. No information except for it's a new leveling system. That's the only thing they gave us. We have lots to speculate on that, right?
Relic armor.
Relic armor, relic weapon. Now, are they saying this is relic armor you use outside?
They haven't used the word relic, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've said armor and weapons you can upgrade.
Yeah. And so, wow, deep dungeon. And they're like, no, not deep dungeon.
No.
What the fuck are you talking about then? I don't know. I can't even envision what they're talking about. Do you guys have any idea?
No, they immediately said no, not deep dungeon, and they said this has never been done in Final Fantasy 14. They actually scaled it back because they were originally like, no, you've never seen this in MMO, and now they're like, no, you've never seen this in Final Fantasy 14, and I'm just like,
what? So, okay, from a different MMO, can we even think about it? We're building up armor. Are we just adding lots of materia to it? We're just changing the stats in our armor as we go along?
I don't think they mean that we haven't seen the armor in another armor system, but more along the lines of what the actual gameplay is. Which is still...
No, I guess maybe they were referencing the gameplay. I thought they were referencing how the armor and the... Well, they said you build up your character inside there, right?
Right. It's gonna be content used specifically for. They did say the relic weapon was also gonna be involved here. This is where our relic weapon is gonna be. Because this is gonna be content specifically for leveling it.
Right. They said that the relic, as far as like I heard, they said that the relic weapon was going to be involved with Eureka, but then when they were talking about Eureka in this live letter, they said you get upgraded stuff inside there. So I'm just wondering if you're gonna get some sort of token or something that then upgrades your outside relic.
Right. Like, is this gonna be an alternate way to get like your gob dip?
Yeah. Like
oh look, upgraded items.
That would be boring. That would be super boring. Go ahead.
I just mean, like, what if it's like Umbraid or something where we're like in there having to grind like some sort of token with our other, I don't know. I could just see them doing that. They like tokens from what I've seen in my playing Final Fantasy.
Huge fan of tokens.
She said a dirty word.
Which word was dirty?
She said Umbraid. Oh,
sorry.
Oh, Umbraid. I still haven't finished that relic. I'm really bad about that stuff. Anything that like I have to grind in the game like repeatedly and do stuff that I just don't want to do constantly, I just don't do it. And then I just end up without it and I'm still happy.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people are talking about like Dynamis. Yeah.
Dynamis?
From 11.
I don't know anything about 11, man.
I don't really either.
I don't know what Dynamis.
I'm excited about Eureka. I'm hoping that it comes out soon because I think it's kind of ridiculous that we don't have like relic. We're not having relic stuff until like 4.25, 4.3. We really lack like any sort of casual content that you can do outside of the stuff you complete and then put down the game, you know? Like we have Ultimate now and that's great, but like the majority of people aren't doing Ultimate.
Did you just call Ultimate casual content?
No, I said we lack casual content.
Okay.
I say we have Ultimate, which satisfies the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that video of me downing Ultimate? That
I mean, Pook was doing earlier.
That was me earlier.
I gotcha.
Since I'm filling in for Arthars.
Yeah, you're filling in for him, dude. You can just talk. Start. You know what? We didn't do that yet. Pook, you need to start acting more like Arthas here. Kind of fill his.
I don't know if I can. I can't do it. I respect him too much to try.
Girl, on the stream. Okay, I did Arthas. We did it. We're done. I've done Arthas the entire show. But no, like Pook. You okay?
No.
No, I was talking about a little bit when God, I felt like I got completely distracted there because we went into this whole thing about Arthas again. But all right, so the weapon, we go try to do it. We're building it up in this special little area. It's nothing like anything we've seen in the game. They're creating some new system. The only thing I can think of is that we get to choose stat upgrades while we're leveling up. But
maybe.
I hope that it's only like a piece or two. Like if it's a full set, it's going to be really awkward.
Don't worry, we got a new inventory system coming. A new Glamour system.
I mean more along the lines of, here I have my relic set, and I'm just going to upgrade it with every patch, and I'm not going to concern myself with the new gear that comes out, because I have my relic set.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the weirdest parts of them doing Relic, of course, is that like it becomes outdated, and it comes back in. They're like, hey, we don't want to make any new gear. We'll just make new Relic stuff, and then we'll do that. And you're just kind of going back and forth. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's fine. It's not like anything that's really making me upset. I don't do it anyways, but it is good that it does become the best and most powerful weapon. It just sucks that, like, if it was always the most powerful weapon, then anything else they put in the game doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, it was a little bit, I felt it was like a little bit awkward during Heavensward, though, because it didn't keep up during Heavensward, like, ever until the very end, and then it kept up for 2 weeks before they did the weird diadem thing. So I think it'd be nice. I think the whole idea, right, was that it would always like stay like one step below like raid gear, but like on par with the other gear that you could like get. I don't know, because the whole idea is you're supposed to have to put a lot of time into it to get it. It's not just like, oh, my relic's done, like I'm good to go. You know, you're supposed to have to be like, oh god, 100 hours of relic grinding. I don't know.
I think Relic should implement, like, you can get it powerful to some certain point, and then it becomes more powerful. Like, it requires a lot for the base to be made and whatever else, but when you do harder content and you complete harder content, you can get things to make it even better. And so, like, that does go into rating as well, but if it, you know, not a lot better, 5 eye levels or something. So if you clear 04S, you get 5 eye levels higher than what you can do, but you have to clear 04S, like, for 10 weeks in a row or something. I don't know. Like, you don't want to completely eliminate, like, 04S weapons and everything else that you get in the game, because that doesn't make any sense either. I can't think of any way for them to balance that. It's just, how would they change their system right now to make it actually worthwhile?
I think that it just has to be, like, not. I don't know. I think that what the working, like at least what I felt like it was in Realm Reborn, and maybe sort of, well, Heaven's Word, like I said, the weapon didn't keep up as well, I don't think, but it was always like what you sort of were like balancing what had the better stats, I guess. Like some people, you know, their raid weapon had really good stats, or some people like they had to get the stats with their relic weapon. And I'm not sure if that's what they want to do, like have us be like choosing between stuff based on stats, or if they want to like, because if I guess Pook's right, if you're relic armor, if you could just choose every single stat on your relic armor, and of course it's probably going to be the best here if the eye level keeps up as well.
But I mean, does do the weapons in the last fight ever matter? If that's the case,
that's like usually they did stay like 5 eye levels ahead, right? I'm of course blanking on like the eye level.
They did before, but I mean like if the weapons from the dungeon are better just because they're 5 eye levels ahead, and sometimes the relic is better, so only some jobs have to do the relic to get the best in slot, and some jobs don't have to do it. It seems kind of odd. I don't know. I don't feel like it has a right spot, a right place in the game, if that makes any sense.
This is gonna sound weird, but I always find it odd that the weapon is one of the last things rewarded in a raid tier, considering you have to beat the raid tier to get the weapon.
Well, now you get the weapon so you can do ultimate.
Right, that makes sense because it's a step beyond the raid tier. But like the weapon just sets you up better for the next raid tier. It doesn't actually help you with progressing through the current raid tier.
Yeah.
And I always thought the raid gear should be there in a way to help you progress through the raid tier.
But then what would be the ultimate reward from clearing a raid tier? What's your last reward? What do you get?
I don't freaking know. You get particle effects.
I don't know, for some reason I feel like the weapon, like they give you sort of a weapon upgrade throughout the tier as you're going through it, which kind of makes sense.
Right, give you access to the currency one, yeah.
The last weapon is just really to say, all right, now you're just that much better. Next time you go through, you just blast through it and you get to show everyone how powerful you are. I think that's really what it is, even though it's not that much more powerful, but you always have the edge up because you've already cleared the fight and got your loot.
Yeah, and I mean, it does help out with the next raid tier. It does to, you know, get yourself best in slot. But I always thought that it was odd. It was like your ultimate reward for beating the hardest challenge of this raid tier is a weapon you probably could have used during this raid tier.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think that people really do. Like, I think that it is kind of the final reward though, and that like most people I know who raid, they're like their main focus is like I need to get like the end weapon, like that is like the biggest prize, you know. So
because everyone wants to look powerful, and they look more powerful if they have a stronger weapon, and so that's really it is. I don't care about being powerful. I don't care. I don't even look at my parses anymore because I'd feel sad if I did. Guys,
don't worry, we do. No. So, well, who does feel strong? Should we segue into job changes? No. Anyways, they didn't give us anything.
The job changes we don't know about.
Yeah.
All this stuff that we really care about. This is the juice of the live letter.
I don't know if this is how they're going to treat part 1 live letters from now on. Where it's in part 2, we'll talk about these things.
It's like a tease.
It's like part 1. Hey guys, you know all this stuff you care about? Well, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be there. I'm confirming that we're going to have things that you want to hear in the next one.
It's the announcement for an announcement. I got actually, okay, I am a huge Power Rangers nerd. Sounds like it's not related at all, but when the newer Power Rangers movie came out, they made announcements for when they were going to release new posters that were advertising the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the posters look cool and all, and they were getting a lot of like plastered all over every kind of entertainment blog and website. And it's like, yeah, that's a really cool looking poster, but I don't need a release date for a poster that announces the release date of the movie.
Yeah. Overhype. I remember buying donuts at one point and it had Power Rangers on there, and I was like,
Krispy Kreme?
What? Krispy Kreme. I'm like,
yeah.
What? This movie? And then eventually it comes out and it sucks, I think, right?
No.
No? Power Rangers didn't suck?
No. It wasn't critically acclaimed, but it was exactly what you went in for. It was a Power Rangers movie.
Okay. I don't know. I heard it wasn't great, but maybe I'm just hearing it from snobs. I don't know. I didn't go see it intentionally by any means.
It wasn't like you're not gonna be like, oh my god, it was the greatest movie I've ever. No, it was a step above a Michael Bay flick.
Ugh. Okay. We'll go on the job changes now. Let's hit the segue.
Okay. The reason I brought up the job changes is because they didn't say anything, really. He said that he just heard a lot of feedback about Black Mage not having the utility and usefulness it should have. And that he saw some comments about Warrior, but he was not going to comment on it then.
Yeah.
And everybody immediately took that as, oh, he said Warrior's weak. They're going to buff Warrior.
When I was reading, I feel like I read a translation though that said like
that Warrior was too strong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we get the same translation going on here? Because some people are like, oh, he was talking about at the same time he was talking about Black Mage, so he was saying Warrior needed help. And the next person was like, no, I see comments that Warrior's too strong. And I'm just like, this is the downside of, we are going to talk about this, please speculate, because he named Warrior. Now everybody's going to be gloom and doom about Warrior until he says something about them.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with Warrior right now. It's the meta is Paladin Warrior. What's wrong is Dark Knight, right? And that's what people are all saying. Although Dark Knights are fine. Who cares? Update them in 5.0, dude. Paladin did it.
Just let them have a hard time for a little bit.
Paladin had a hard expansion.
Yeah. It's Dark Knight's time. It's all right. I mean, we can take Warrior down a peg. I was okay with Warrior being down.
Maybe that's what he was hinting at. Maybe he was like, this is Warrior's time to have a hard expansion. Like, that's the announcement. Let's just make him real bad.
I just think the only thing that they need to do is nerf Trick Attack.
They need to nerf Fail Cleave. Worst thing that ever happened. Fail Cleave should exist in the game.
They need to nerf Trick Attack. Ninja is still way too valuable.
Well, if we're talking about ultimate, like, best comps in the world, you have Dragoon and Ninja, but it's all because of utility, because utility is so powerful with coordinated play and well-done play, right?
Yeah. It's about lining things up with Trick. I'm talking like I know how I play the game, and I don't. No. But it's still, like, honestly, out of all that, I don't see another job, and I'm like, hello, they're getting away with murder over here. I don't see that.
I think the way to really fix it is to have other options that can't overlap with the other options. For example, have a range DPS, that can provide what Dragoon does and Ninja does, but they won't overlap. And so you can have a choice of having your range be your utility versus your melee being the utility for increasing damage.
And then the second we do that, there'll be people that are like, classes don't have enough differentiation. They need to be unique. And why do they have the same skills? And I don't know. I think you're right that there needs to be more crossover if we want things to ultimately be more balanced.
But we're not going to have another DPS job in like 2 expansions. They're already cashed out with this one.
Yeah, they gave us both DPSs. It's going to be like, nope, tanks and healers for days.
Yep. We're going to get Dancer. Gonna heal punching people. I'm so ready for that. All right. And we're gonna get a blue mage that's a tank.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah. Blue mage is a tank that use monster abilities to actually, harden themselves and that sort of thing. And then I want a melee healer so bad. Every game that's tried a melee healer, I played it for a little bit. I totally did.
Yep.
Yeah. I
think Dancer would make sense for it.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, again, we're still lacking information on this. And the Black Mage stuff makes sense because every single time I did a episode on Ultimate and, like, they translated that over to, like, a Japanese website or something, all the posts were like, Black Mage, Black Mage, Black Mage, Black Mage, Black Mage, Black Mage. And that's all they would talk about is Black Mage being in the game.
I've just learned that the game hates Black Mage.
Not really. I mean, I can't say that for sure because Black Mage is pretty awesome. I'm playing it, and Triple Cast has definitely helped with a lot of stuff. But my gosh,
hey, they had their expansion, Realm Reborn. You didn't see a summoner anywhere. Black Mage every single Koyo party just had the caster spot set to only Black Mage. Black Mage and Monk, they had their expansion. Now they're never going to be good again.
For Keep and Wanderer's Palace, and that was the only way to get tomestones.
Yep.
And refused to take. We had a summoner in our guild or FC that we would not take with us because we could not meet the DPS check on Demon Wool with a summoner in the party.
Yeah, I played Summoner during Realm Reborn, and it was a bad experience.
It was.
Nobody wanted me.
This was before they took out the bees.
I understand how you feel as a paladin main throughout all Heavensward.
Oh yeah,
not all Heavensward, but
yeah.
I felt it. Man, you know how many people called me stupid for doing H12S and like said you're holding your group back. I'm like, we're fine, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Jesus Christ. When we constantly hit Enrage, sure, then maybe I'm doing something. But if we only hit Enrage a couple of times before the clear, I'm not holding anything back. We're fine, guys. Chill out.
Yeah, I mean, my current raid party is currently like the rejects group. We have like a monk, and we have a black mage, and we have a dark knight, and I don't know, we just kind of go with it. When we were like trying ultimate and like trying to prog it, everyone would just come in and be like, "What is this party comp? Like, what are you doing?" Just like, you know, chilling,
playing
the game,
having fun. The funniest thing is when I saw Ethis, I was watching his stream when he was going through some Savage turns, and I saw his group being like 2 red mages, 2 paladins, and just like something just off the wall. Just you're completely hurting yourself. But hey, man, if you guys are having fun, then you're not really losing. You're doing great, guys.
It's like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, you do it. Screw it, man. If you guys have fun doing it, and that's fine. I mean, when I beat, what was that turn? The airplane guy. That was A11, right? A11.
Yeah.
When we beat that, and we did more of the fight than anyone else because we kept going through and we did the cruise chaser mechanics so well because our DPS sucked so bad that we had to go through a second revision of what those mechanics were.
Yeah.
I felt proud at the end of that match, and I was okay with it.
Do you feel like you might be better at the game because you could handle more cruise chaser mechanics than the average person?
Yeah. I'd say I'm a good player just because I can do mechanics. I'm a mechanically well-versed player.
I see soar, so I'm a better player.
Yeah,
you know, I
can handle soar. I handle challenging fights. Guys, come on.
Guys.
I mean, and that's the funny thing, though, is like most veteran players and people are, you know, hardcore players, their goal is always to do less mechanics, to do less things, and just target dummy as much as they can so they can do less of the fight and have an easier time. For me, bring it on.
You gotta respect the content. Do everything.
Respect the content. Yeah. I would say that probably that. I lost my thought there.
All right, screw your thought. It didn't matter anyways, right?
Yeah, it was just a matter of like, there's your reward. Your reward for successfully completing the content is going through it and not having to do all the mechanics.
Yeah,
because you cleared faster.
Okay, there's a handful of little things that they have in here that was
like the very like, you know, subaquatic voyages where we're like, okay.
Because Moxath, it's not you don't pay my sub anymore, it's you don't pay my submarine.
Yeah. So do you guys do voyages? Do you guys do airship stuff?
I mean, yeah, I send it out and it goes, and I'm done.
I moved over to an FC where I don't have to take care of it, so I assume they do.
How much information did we get on submarines?
Nothing. We saw a picture of the sub.
We saw a picture.
Yeah.
Hey guys, remember when we were gonna have airship battles?
Remember when we were actually gonna get on it and go somewhere?
Remember that, guys?
You know what? FanFest. God damn, I was hyped, man. I saw that and I was like I think it was 2014, right? They Heavensward, and they were like, "Here's an airship," and I was like, "My life's over. I lived this game now. This is all I'm doing. I wanted to be an airship guy."
Yeah.
And then 3.0 came out, and it was just like what it is now. And they were like, "Oh, don't worry, like 3.1, we're gonna be going out there." Like, and then we stopped talking about it.
Stop talking about it. Remember when they were like, "Hey, maybe FCs can summon primals."
Oh, you're right. There were so many cool things they mentioned initially with airships.
So like, Square Enix, I love Square Enix. I love everything right now we are being complete assholes and we're criticizing them harshly, but it's still funny to me. This is absolutely hilarious because that Heavensward came out. I saw Machinist. I was like, the airships, Machinist. I get to be like super engineer. My dreams are all happening. This is my patch.
steampunk fantasies are becoming real.
And then Machinist wasn't that great at the very beginning.
It was really bad, yeah.
And then like, oh god, it was roller coaster down from there, and oh my god, Square Enix, just never do that to us again. Don't get our hopes up like that. Like, I love Submarines, but man, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
It is interesting, wondering if we're going to be able to take the sub to Eureka, but Eureka's not. Is it underwater? It's not underwater, we don't think, right?
We don't. I believe they showed art.
They showed art,
and the art didn't appear to be underwater. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of disappointed because, like, if we go underwater, we're never going to have, like, another situation where we're taking a team out underwater and fighting stuff because we can't fight underwater, right? Were you guys ever, like, upset that we couldn't fight underwater? Or you, like,
I was.
Were you?
Yeah, because, well, everyone told me, like, Sophie, underwater combat sucks. Like, there's so many limitations and whatever. But I really, really like underwater aspects of games. I was very excited for Stormblood because I like swimming. I like underwater. I don't necessarily think we need a whole underwater combat system. And I know that this has, like, PS4 limitations. I don't know. But the underwater we have right now feels so dead. Like, you go under there and there's, like, one shark and you're like,
yeah,
he's going by.
I'm so on the fence about that because swimming is such an afterthought in game. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there. But at the same time, I played through Vashir and WoW when Cataclysm launched. That was the zone I went through, and I'm just like, underwater combat would be great as long as there wasn't mandatory underwater questing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was rough doing, like, I went through that expansion as well, and it was just rough doing underwater stuff. So, I mean, I understand at this point, it's really hard to do well underwater stuff, except for putting bubbles and saying, hey, you go in the bubble, and there's your underwater. You're underwater, technically, but you're in a bubble, doing the same stuff you would do on land. Nothing special. I'd be okay if we had submarines and we could shoot at each other. Like, you're just running around like the targeting system where you shot the sheep and everything and throughout.
All the blow darts?
Yeah, the blow darts. Like, if you the blow dart system to the submarine, so you go out on voyages and everyone is just an 8-man team blow darting everything around.
You can play Battleship.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the use for it.
Yeah.
Everybody, Blitzball incoming. Yeah.
We're talking about things that we heard about that we haven't heard about.
Yeah, like what? I think the trend now is just like they just stop mentioning it if they don't feel like it's gonna actually happen. We just
quiet.
Like Yoshi, stop talking, please.
Please don't look forward to it.
Like, I feel like Yoshi's just sitting there like, man, these things are great, and then he starts having a conversation, and his filter's off, and he's just like, yeah, this Blitzball, yeah, awesome. All right, let's get this going. And then everybody's like, they start running into a wall with it, and they're like, just forget, just ignore it. It just doesn't exist. Put it in a little trash pile.
I'm waiting for the moment where Yoshida is talking about something he wants in game on, like, during a live letter or something, and just like a Square Enix executive in a black suit and shades walks out and taps him on the shoulder and just goes, like,
just hey. Like, they bring out the cane, and then, like, you see Yoshida's chair, like, slide off to the side. Like, oh, I guess, bye, guys. Oh, man. Blitzball. And can you imagine what Blitzball is going to look like if they ever do get it in, though? I mean, honestly, after being underwater.
They're like, do you really want to, like, one of the things he threw out there was, like, do you want manager mode? Like, would you just manage the Blitzball team like you did in, or would you actually active play it? And I'm like,
would it be the Lords of Verminion version of Blitzball?
Oh, gosh.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Why did you bring up Lords of Verminion? I forgot about that.
Do you guys know that there's development and things like Lords of Verminion that happen every single day on this Square Enix team? And we see these things happen.
Every time they come out with a new minion, somebody has to decide what its moving.
Yeah, what its abilities are.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's job is literally to still work on Verminion.
Well, I mean, it's not their only job, but yeah, they have to dedicate time. Job. He would have the most depressing job in the world, I'm pretty sure. Like, hey, we have this dead system over here, but we gotta keep updating it. So, you know,
Let's talk about a new system that's actually looking promising, though. Perform.
Yeah, they jumped on that quick. They were like, let's introduce it, see how people react, and now they're like, we need a team dedicated to Perform. You guys are gonna have a new UI. You guys are gonna have new instruments.
You're gonna be able to keybind the Perform UI specifically, so you don't it doesn't interfere with your other keybinds. Like they got the piano on. It's gonna be 4 instruments. I hope that one of them is like a whoopee cushion or something.
Did they mention if you can play more than one note at a time?
No, and it doesn't look like it had anything for holding notes either. So that's still going to be an issue. I know that you didn't expect it with a harp because you don't sustain on a harp, but
yeah, that'll be interesting. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have like a full band, like someone with drums on the side, like they'll have a little tip jar or something. Maybe they'll introduce that in the perform feature.
Tip jar.
They have like a little tip jar sitting out in front of there, and so people can come over and throw Gil in there while you and your 3 friends are in a team playing music.
I'm just sad I can't perform inside of an instance because then I can't use the replay feature to watch my perform.
So, all right, let's talk. You know what? Now I have to start to think about it. Okay, 4 instruments, a party of 4. Are they starting to? They want to do bands now? Are we gonna have like bands?
They're gonna do what they did with PvP, and you can set up a group and compete against each other. You know,
like they do in Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim Battle of the Bands thing.
The Battle of the Bands thing going on, but there's going to be a third party that can join. That's just having a dance battle in the middle of the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, you could do it. Why not, man? Get the whole alliance going. New PvP is Perform.
PvP is Perform.
They're talking about a new PvP mode. There we go.
It's all hosted by
when people come ask you about like, is PvP good in this game? I mean, it's musical.
It sounds great.
It sounds great. Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's going to be interesting seeing him go. You know, this did blow up a lot, but I don't know if it's going to hold, to be honest with you. I think after they introduce all these new instruments and everything else, it's going to be like something people do, but it's not going to be something that's like, I don't know, that important anymore. We might get bored of it after a while. Do you think?
When I've seen it added to other games, there's always a small part of the populace that continues to play. This will be really big with role players.
Oh, God. Don't go to Balmung, man. It's just like you walk through like every single area, you just have instruments and people are playing music. Everybody's a rock star.
I do hope that they put it on a separate volume slider or give you the ability to mute it, maybe for people who aren't in your party or something like that.
Yeah.
That I will say, but like we actually have one of the few neighborhoods that I've ever been in on game where people actually hang out in the neighborhood, and some of them are just playing music there.
Every time I log in, I go to my FC house. Guess who I have a neighbor? I have Fold as my neighbor. He's just sitting there fucking around with his music every single time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I've been on some servers where housing areas are just completely dead. Like every house is bought, but nobody ever hangs out there. And then I'll run around on Hyperion, and I'll go to the summoning bell, and there's always somebody over there just playing.
Yeah. That's how they spend. They're like, hey, I had a hard day at work. I'm going to go play music in Final Fantasy. This is my thing.
Yeah, see, I've heard like in my entire time since it's come out, I've heard like 3 people perform on individual occasions. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Coral's just not musical, but
I guess
so. Go to Ralgers. You will find.
I know I've sat there. There's not like I don't know. One time when I was in Quarry Mill, someone was spamming like one key over and over again, and I was like, "What is that?" But I really haven't heard too much of it.
I don't know why. I don't know why. That's crazy. Like I log in, I always hear the Final Fantasy theme. Always the intro theme for Final Fantasy. I forget what it is for Final Fantasy 14. Huh?
Prelude?
Yeah, Prelude. Prelude's always playing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, where's it? Oh, yeah. Somebody's over there just dicking around with their harp playing Prelude. Nothing else. No one's playing any other song ever. It's always Prelude. I don't know what it is. Maybe they just want to learn it, and then they're like, okay, cool.
All right, that's what I know.
Yeah. Okay. So there's... go ahead.
I was about to say, I was like, looking at this, is the only thing I see apparently crafting leveling is going to be faster. Housing changes.
Great. I might do it. I don't know. I can't do it, man. Crafting's just so hard for me. I mean, if they made like press one button, get a level in crafting, I might do it. But like that's just not who I am. And I like Final Fantasy 14 for its crafting system because you have to actually enjoy doing it, or you have to actually want to be a crafter to do it. And it's not just a side thing. Like in WoW, it's just a side thing. Oh, well, we have 2 crafters. I do this stuff real quick. I press a button and it automatically does stuff for me. I feel like they did really well with the system because it discourages people who don't like crafting.
Right, and I know some people who are really into crafting, so I'm like, yeah, they get to have their fun with that. I think it takes a little bit more thought, and that makes it work out. But I'm just like, oh, more crafting XP. Okay, I kind of need it because I haven't leveled mine yet, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's just another like catch up mechanic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like as the game is growing and getting older and everything else, you have to cut out some of that middle ground between like the end and the beginning. So
please rework the lower level questing. The XP is fast enough, but the lower level questing still. You still have to do like 70,000 fetch quests.
Yeah.
To go to the content, even if you over level it, and it's just like, why am I giving pretzels to these people?
They need to, they need to cut out a lot of stuff, and make them optional quests on the side or something that they can do.
I started a new character on Omega. We had a day where we all got together and just started Omega characters to just do it, and I got to level 22 before Sastasha.
Really? Oh, because is it preferred?
It's preferred, yeah. And it's just like, okay.
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 Now you just do the dungeon to do it, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that and the housing thing was an announcement of an announcement.
Yeah. They're
We're gonna change how you buy houses, but we're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the housing stuff, he said, hey, we heard you guys complaining. We understand. It makes sense. So now you guys are not going to, we're going to do it in like segments, slowly release more and more housing, right? Is that basically it?
Yeah, they're going to, the stuff that the new awards are putting out, they're doing it in segments, so it's not all bought at once. They did say that they were going to change requirements for buying a house or how the house is bought.
Yeah, how they were purchased. They said
have to clear ultimate to buy a house. Hey, man, only the most elitist can have houses.
I really hope they add limitations in to like you can't have 5 ults all with holding houses, you know?
It needs to be like there's one account with one real life name can have this one house. Like they have some sort of tracking system. Like,
or just at least one per server, you know?
Yeah, that would make sense. Like I would think one per account makes sense. To be honest with you, you have one house you can have for your account, and that's it.
I'm okay with them setting stricter guidelines. I am. The only problem I have is the impact. Is it going to be retroactive? Are they going to just start snatching houses from people?
Say, hey, you guys have to choose one house. Which house do you want? The rest of them are gone.
They did say that indoor or interior and exterior fixtures and furnishings will remain when removed. That's like you can pick the Odin statue back up. Hopefully it means you can take the wallpaper back off of partitions without destroying it. Or it's also like, cool. And if the house is removed, you don't lose everything. So when we start taking your houses,
you get all your stuff back.
Oh God, yeah. I held on to a house on Exodus for so long just because I wanted to do it. I never used the house. I never did anything. And that really should have been ripped away from me. It really should have been. Like, I don't use the house. I don't have any intention of using it. Why not let some other guy who actually goes on that server have the house? But I'm an asshole, and I don't want to take it away because it's sentimental to me.
Yeah.
It's okay,
right. Man. I agree with that, Moxat, that they don't talk about it early because they don't want people to either prepare for it or take advantage of it. It's the reason why we don't learn what crafting recipes are before a patch goes. Yeah, before they go into maintenance for a patch.
Right.
But
while we're talking about small things for you guys, we can talk about something that they put a lot of information out there that probably a lot of people didn't care about, unless if you cared about PvP.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a lot of information for PvP. So being involved kind of with the PvP community and everything else, like you could see all the discussion, all these different things that come out that we have to talk about, all these different changes are coming in with Feast, but only the people with Feast who care about it. What do you guys think when you saw the Feast changes where you're like, that looks like information?
And the only thing that really caught me is like, that might be more interesting is the new medal caps based on role.
Okay.
And the fact that it's like, well, okay, the healer can only carry so much, but if someone carries less than their initial amount of medals, they're harder to kill. So is now somebody's strategy to maybe get the healer killed like twice, so the healer has an easier time of keeping the rest of the party alive because the healer is now harder to kill. So
I will tell you what the big strategy is. If you see a new healer, it's kill the healer every single time. Just murder him. Just destroy him the entire game. That's what you're doing. But if he starts getting defense up, maybe he'll start to be able to stay alive from that pressure that's happening to him at the beginning of the game. So every change that they made, they were thinking about new people coming into Feast. They weren't thinking about veteran play. They weren't thinking about like what's going on with the meta. They weren't thinking about anything else. At least in my opinion, I can't say this. I act like I'm speaking for Square Enix. Like I know this for sure. Right. But in my opinion and my thoughts and the process that they went through with this, it's all done for new players. It's none of this. They don't care anything about what's going on with the meta right now.
Well, they're going to need a bigger pool of people if they're going to start to really push an esports scene.
Yeah.
Which is exactly like, and they're not even hiding it anymore. They're like, this is for esports. This is, if you perform well as a rated team, you'll be invited to tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, yeah. And so I can understand them making maybe the entry level bar lower, but now I'm actually curious as to how veteran players would respond to something like, okay, the healer gets killed twice and then they leave the healer alone because it's harder to kill the healer, but now the healer can keep other people up from burst.
Honestly, the strategy, that's only for like new healers. Healers who know what they're doing, you don't attack them as much. You attack someone else, because the point is, when a healer dies, he regains all of his mana.
Right, okay.
If you kill like one other person, they have to be in line of sight. You're always in line of sight of yourself, so you can always heal yourself. So when you're killing like other people on their team, you're
actually putting more.
You're adding pressure to them, and then they run out of mana, and then you just kill their team, and then you kill the healer, and then you've wiped them. But I mean, that's kind of when you start to get into more high level strategies and everything else. What they're doing right now with the medal system, I'll tell you, I played on fucking Primal. This is why I was talking shit earlier. And I was playing as an alt. I was just like, I'm going to test stuff out. I went over there. I can't tell you how often I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that was just what I was thinking. I was like, do you understand at all what is happening? The healer would die. They keep running into their team and just start beating them up. I'm like, I understand that this level of awareness, this is all new players. So for me, who has played for a little while, it kind of makes sense that they're doing this just because they want to make it to people who can come into the game, not know what they do, and still be kind of have training wheels of some sort.
Yeah, I think from the perspective of someone who hasn't really played much, and looking at the changes, things like, I mean, just straight up the defensive supplies and the offensive supplies just seemed like something that as a new player, you walk in and you say, what are these boxes? I'm going to hit them. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. So like, that was one thing that like right off the bat, you didn't understand. And then, I mean, just things like raising where you die, like that'll just make it easier for people to.
Right. Yeah. You don't res back at your base. You res where you die,
which is. I'm still concerned about that. Like, I don't know how they're going to implement it because, like, right now, if you die, one of the ways your team stays alive, if you're a healer and you die, is that they kite and they run away to your base.
And they back up. Yeah, it'll be really weird because, like, when you raise in the game, too, it's usually a delayed thing. Like, your character, like, slowly, like, comes back up. So I'm wondering if, like, that's going to make it harder. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what if they make it where it's a quick raise, it won't be a big deal. But if they make it to where it's still like 15 seconds, like what it's been doing, and you have to run away from your healer and run and circle back to your healer where he died at, that's going to be the challenge. And so I don't know if that's going to make anything easier unless if they change the duration of death. But
right, and the other thing is with the medals, it looks like they're actually basically going, no, you can't pick up the wrong number of medals anymore. If you pick up too many medals, you just drop them. Yeah. They basically like, no, new player, no, you're not supposed to be carrying that many medals.
Yeah. No,
because the times I've gone in there, there's always been somebody who's been really happy to pick up every single medal themselves.
And I lose a lot of matches to that guy because he picks up all those medals. I'm like, I was right there. Just let me get them. I'm okay. I got them. So when we're talking about Feast, again, we're talking about this, and a lot of people who don't play it, a lot of people watching the stream probably don't play Feast. I have a lot of fun playing it. I think it's fun. I'm entertained by it. There's lots of things in the game people are entertained by, and this is the thing that draws me in right now, currently. And I feel like people getting into Feast, dealing with these people who've been playing for years and have been salty and everything else about all the changes, and then get completely their asses handed to them, are having trouble. And so they're going and they're trying to make efforts to try to close that gap a little bit. You could tell by the way that they simplified all the actions going into this expansion.
Yeah.
And made it like, if you guys play Rival Wings, you're not like confused at all. You like, I know it, these are buttons and they make sense. I have 9 of them. Right?
Yeah.
There's not as many like choosing your PvP actions and stuff. That was always a really like confusing part of it.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of them that you didn't know what they did.
Yeah. But to like people who've been playing a while, these changes don't make any sense at all on an in-game meta level. It only makes sense for bringing people into PvP. So I think that's what they're doing. If you guys want to look at it and just have a blind bit of information about why did they introduce this stuff, it's to make it easier so people who come in, mainly healers, when they come into Feast, they're not having as much trouble. And I think it's fun, and I think they should promote it. I think they should do things to make people want to play Feast just to see it and have... I don't know. When you watched FanFest, did you guys watch FanFest PvP when they were doing that?
A little bit of it. A little bit.
I didn't.
Okay.
I kept catching like when they did like the show matches of like, you know, players versus like, you know,
devs, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I think that I personally I've talked about this a little bit now, where I was the person who somebody comes into my stream and they ask, how's the PvP in this game? And my response is, if you're looking for PvP, try another game.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for just PvP, this is not the game for you. And over time, I'm like, you know what? No, that's actually kind of a dick move. Yes, I don't particularly care for the PvP, and I know a lot of people who don't. But the PvP is not going to grow and get better if I'm discouraging people from trying it.
Yeah. And so I agree with you, Pook. I said that stuff too. So spoofy, I bet you do it all the time, right?
I just like Pook, I've kind of changed my, like recently I more so say, it's not great, but they're working on it.
Yeah,
like
that's what I started to say. I was like, it's in its infancy. They've made some changes. They're trying to make it grow. Who knows? It might go somewhere. I've started to like, because I used to just completely discount it. I'd just be like, oh no.
If you like Final Fantasy and you like PvP, play Feast. Figure out how Feast works and play it and have fun. If you don't really like it, then you don't have to play it. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of people who felt the exact same way. They got into it, and now this is all they do. For me, as an example, I didn't care much for Feast because I didn't care about Wolfston or anything else. I was just like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me try it out. And I just started playing it, and I just kept playing it. I had fun with it. And I started to figure out why I was doing bad. I fixed those things. I started doing good. I saw that visual improvement, and I was like, I like beating people up. And I get to do it in an MMO I've played for years. So I do it. And I think anyone who enjoys any kind of competitive aspect and they play this game, just try it, play it. If you really hate it, there's other games to play. The downside to it is the solo queue is the queue in general. But if you're a DPS, you're used to long queues anyways.
Right. Yeah. It's come a long way from the original Wolves Den. That's actually the original Wolves Den was something I tried to go hard on, and that was my first experience with PvP. I know it's like not anywhere near what it was before, but it's always left a kind of a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah. Because original Wolves Den was just.
Yep. It was bad. Now
AoE sleeps everywhere, all the time.
And I never got too deep into that either. I just remember fighting Joe Never Fails once. He like did a 1v1 match with me. He killed me, then my team killed him. And that felt good. I have the video somewhere of it. But yeah, no. And my team beat him 3 versus 4 is what I want to say after that. Like, I suck. But versus my team just was really great.
Morale. Oh, man. Morale.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's so many factors, like gear and everything else. They removed all of that. Now, if you just want to say, hey, I want to do PvP, if you're level 30, you're ready to
just
go.
hop in.
You just
go
go
over
in.
the Wolves Den, set up your bars and go.
Level up with PvP. I find PvP a more fun, enjoyable way to level than going and doing dungeons over and over again. To me, I'm doing something different every single time I do a match. And so it's, I don't know, entertaining to me. So if I want to level up alts, that's the best way for me to do it.
Yeah, the justification... oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like that was kind of like the thought process of a lot of people going into leveling in Stormblood, but then it immediately, like, a few days later turned into, it's all robots, don't do it, you know?
Well, that's like battleground stuff. Like, well, actually, no, the robots were... So the way to get rid of robots... we're saying this like we're talking about Rival Wings. Why do you get rid of bots in PvP?
I know, sorry, I called them robots for whatever reason, but...
It makes sense. But I mean, the way to get rid of them is to make it to where the incentive is not the most valuable incentive to go in there and blindlessly use a bot. All right? And so Shatter, all the bots can keep Shatter. They can stay there. They can keep going. Just let us have a clean Rival Wings and clean Feast, and I'm okay.
Oh, man. Like, Shatter. I actually was one of the people, I enjoyed Shatter. I did. And then I enjoyed Shatter when one, it was full of people. And two, they were playing it as of like a strategically like, okay, this ice, this base, go, go, go. But I miss Seal Rock so much.
Seal Rock was good. That was like one of the first like creative decisions, positive. Hey, calm down, Spoofy.
Sorry. I don't know if that made a loud noise or not.
She's going for the mic drop over there. She's
no.
But no.
Sorry.
Seal Rock was the first time they went actually kind of creative with the way they were doing PvP. I think in a positive way that people responded really well to. And so eventually they started growing off that. They made Feast, and Feast has been much better than Wolf's Den because if you die once, you're not out of the game. You can come back. And some people hate that. Some people hate the fact that like if you're winning and you're like you have almost enough medals to win the game, people can just destroy you because of vulnerabilities, but they're changing that apparently too, so it'll be different. It'll be different, guys. Spoofy, I recommend you try Feast a little bit.
Yeah, I've gone in. We'll go in some more. It's always more of just like I haven't played it lately. I haven't played it since I don't think I've even played it since they changed PvP. Like they changed the skills and stuff, so maybe I'll try it again. Yeah.
Pook, give me your commitment.
To do more PvP?
Just to do Feast. Just go out there and try it a couple of times.
No. Wait, actually, yes, because I have one more Garo set to buy. And
okay.
Yeah, that's like literally the only... I need the mounts, you know? Those cool robot ponies.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, I have them. I feel like a badass. But we'll talk to you, Spoofy, while he's doing his thing. But yeah, I trust you, all right? Go out there, do it, get robot mounts, and be happy about it.
Yeah, that's what you get. Is it Feast that you can get the little airship that you stand on? Yeah,
that's like I think cool. 100 wins. I think if I remember right.
Yeah,
either 100 or 200 wins somewhere. Yeah, I'm rolling in that deep too. I got so much. You get a lot of glamour gear. Tons of glamour gear from it.
Titles.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the time to try it out, especially if they're going to make it to where you can go to FanFest and do a tournament. So let me put this in a nice little perspective too with the team registration stuff. You get like a little mini FC with that.
Yeah.
You get ranks with it, you get everything else, and you don't have to be competitive with it. You could just have a group of 6 people who want to talk in a little dedicated chat from different servers, and they like PvPing together. They like going out and having fun.
Cool. I wonder if people will use that just like not even planning on PvPing, just like we want a group of like a little like link shell crossover link shell.
Cross server link shell special. Like it's not even, it doesn't take up a link shell slot either. So it's like a little special tiny chat for you and your buddies. It's not big enough for a static, but it's big enough for just a group of friends. And so I think that's a lot of people are going to use that too. So I don't know. If you guys are still curious about it, go try it out. Give your own opinion about it. If you hate it, you hate it, but whatever. I'm still having fun with it. And that's what we'll end off with PvP, except we'll go into Rival Wings if you guys have a lot of Rival Wing experience. I don't know if you do or not. You guys have more experience than me because I've never done it.
Oh, really?
I've never entered Rival Wings.
It's fun.
3 matches?
I hugged a healer in the middle. I mean, you saw. I had that Rival Wings clip, so.
Yeah. I saw, because I saw that, I thought maybe Spoofy she does a lot of rifle wings. I don't know. I'm saying spoofy intentionally.
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done it. I don't know, like 5 times, maybe. Maybe 5 or 6. And I've kind of like understand what's going on at this point. I think that's how many it takes to sort of at least sort of understand what people are doing. And it seems cool. I mean, I have friends who have been playing it a lot more than I have been. Like they've been like doing it regularly. And I think that's kind of cool because it was people who were previously not too interested in PvPing regularly.
It's the entryway right now to PvP. And so you can play Feast, and if you really like it, then you can move, or not play Feast, play Rival Wings. If you're like that, then you can move into like the competitive part, which is Feast. Because Rival Wings is not competitive, or it's not meant to be a competitive scene. It's meant to be go in there and have fun.
Yeah.
Since chat would probably know this better than I do, have they moved past have people moved past the stack a bunch of healers in the middle and just hold middle all game? Like, do they actually play the game now?
Usually there's like one healer in the middle that can just hold it because healers are still like, you need like 5 people to kill a healer, it feels like. I don't know.
I actually had to have a full party of 4 to kill a scholar. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, okay, no.
Yeah. You need at least 2 people in Feast to kill a healer, right? And so it makes sense that they're so invincible, because in Feast, and to balance that out, you have a team of 4, and 3 of them have to be probably actively trying to kill that one healer. And so it doesn't seem too far-fetched that a whole bunch of healers could completely just stay alive forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's PvP for me.
PvP?
I don't have a lot of experience beyond that. I think it'll be cool if they get it going, like with the tournaments and stuff.
We'll do a dedicated episode to that information later on. We don't have to go into it too much. But it's interesting that they released. That was the main central point of this almost whole live letter. Was like, hey, here's some Feast changes, and then like not too many people.
Yeah, it was PvP changes. It was no announcements about in game, and then the big announcements about the true in game.
Yeah. Glamour.
Yeah, it was all the things like, I mean, there were some cool things like the glamour and the inventory stuff, but most of the
glamour
stuff...
and the inventory is what I'm going crazy about. That's me. I'm just like, yes!
And it's so funny because it's just like the things that we're so excited about are just simple quality of life. Oh, well, we're going to make this annoyance that we've had in this game for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years gone. There you go. This is the best game in the world. I've been free.
It was stuff we weren't expecting, which was nice, though. Like, I mean, we talked about earlier how there was blitzball and going off on airships and stuff that they've talked about and then we're not getting. So it is nice to get something that wasn't talked about.
Right.
That we are getting.
Well, they said a couple of things like they were going to improve upon the inventory system and everything else. And this, I didn't expect the Chocobo carrying 70 of my items. Chocobo, whatever. I didn't expect that. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be great for collectibles. It's a collectibles inventory.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Do you guys use your battle Chocobo?
Yeah.
No. Mine actually stays in the stables. I only pull him out to level him up, and sometimes I forget to do that. Yeah.
I actually use it. I use it more since I've started streaming, because if I'm out and I'm doing a fate or I'm doing something, and if like anything remotely bad happens, like if I get close to dying, there's always someone in the chat who's like, "Streamer, where is your Chocobo?"
Streamer,
please take your Chocobo out. So I don't know. I kind of got more used to it because I had someone reminding me always.
And they do phrase it that way too. They go, "Streamer."
You know, you have a Chocobo who could be healing you.
Timeout. I'm more than a streamer. I'm a human being. Okay, but real quick, guys, while we're getting up to the last parts of the notes, if you guys have any questions, we usually do questions around the end of the show. Click on that link, submit it there, and I will ask these questions at the very end here, right when we're starting to close up. Because we are getting to that point to where we almost hit the 2-hour mark since we had to start 30 minutes late. I still haven't heard from Arthars. I hope he's okay, but I'm sure he's just asleep.
Just sleeping. It's still 8 in the morning there or something, right? Probably.
It's about 8:12. 8:12 is what time it is for him, AM, and he stayed up all night, so.
Yeah, I'd be asleep.
Yeah, but I don't know why he should have just went to sleep earlier. But I guess that's just Arthars. That's what he does. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, anything that you didn't talk about, any troll questions that you want to ask Spoofy about her hair or about the minion in her background, or Pook, about, you know, pony ninjas, things like that. I mean, feel free to ask these. Yeah, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask the questions, guys. So the other parts that I want to hit real quick before we get close to the ending. Let me move this back over to my little segment here. Glamour prisms. The glamour system. It doesn't feel right. Something feels wrong about this whole setup. Like, it doesn't, yeah, it just doesn't feel like we're getting what we actually want. We have to go to the end room, right? And we get 10 sets that we can save.
Oh, okay. So, one of the even Yoshi P said the reason he wasn't going to talk a lot and do slides was because he was going to communicate it wrong. And even with the slides, they had to come back and say, no, there's more to this. We got this wrong. Okay. So the most important thing to note is that these changes are actually additions to the current Glamour system. They will not replace it. Because a lot of people are like, wait, I'm down to 10 sets, but I have 15 combat jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, so you can still glamour individual items and glamour individual gear sets the way you do now, but there's only going to be one kind of glamour prism.
Which is great.
That's great.
They've been making steps to improve that over the years. They're just like, let's do no grades anymore. One grade.
No grades.
All right, now let's just do one prism.
One prism. Right. That's the first part. The second part is that the glamour commode.
Yes, I know. It's called that, but it's...
if you live outside of the U.S., you're like, why is he snickering? If you live inside the U.S., you know that commode is also a word for toilet, but it also means wardrobe.
Yeah.
They couldn't just call it the glamour wardrobe. They had to find another word because Square Enix always takes that extra step.
Oh my god, Koji, dude. Come on. Man.
We'll hold 200 unique items that no longer take your inventory space. It's a second armoire specifically for glamoring. You will then be able to make 10 presets based on what's inside of there, what's inside your armoire. And those presets, when you're in a place like a town or your in-room, etc., can be changed like that. So you can macro them, role players. But it also, the reason that the ensembles are really useful is because now if you play both Black Mage and Summoner and they have the same gear, but you want them to look different, you can do that because you can assign different appearances to that same piece of gear in different ensembles.
That sounds
complicated.
Yeah,
a bit.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, the complexity is almost like 990 there.
Yeah, it's
Jeez Louise.
It's taxed to $9.99 now, actually. But no, it's here's the extra step again, because you can't just dye your chocobo in this game. You take your chocobo to the stable and you feed it foods and you hope you get the right RGB color combination, and you bring it out 6 hours later and it's puke green.
You know, some people like puke green poop.
I felt, at least from the way that, and I think that like we're kind of, it's up to interpretation right now since we don't have the full story on it. But at least the way I saw it is, I've had so many people tell me like, oh, I want the glamour system to be more like WoW or Guild Wars 2 or whatever. And I feel like it sort of is like getting to that point where we can collect skins of things instead of having like the actual items. And I think people do want that. So
we do want that. Unfortunately, it's 200 items total right now. I'm hoping they expand it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like they have to rework the system in some way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, there's no way that's going to work out at all, because you have to make it to a point where you have just, hey, here's armor that I've collected. It's all been transmuted into this whole, like, transmute because of WoW, right? You have this whole page here, and every single item that you've ever collected can go in here, and now I can throw it away and not feel bad about it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm hoping for in the long run, is I can basically just do that with every piece of gear I get. Like, it's unlocked on me. If you're only referencing what items I own when I go to the in room to check, then I don't know why the 200 limit is there.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm definitely tired of like always having a Bray Flox's Battle Mage's robe on my retainer just in case.
Just in case you ever want to wear it again, because I have a bunch of stuff like that too. Like
I've never worn it again.
I have the gold.
It's just there.
I have the gold saucer, like the common wear, like the Oasis doublet and stuff like that. And I try them on, and I'm like, I would never wear this, but I spent MGP.
Store it. Yeah, like you don't.
Yeah.
So kind of the way that I think about it a lot of times is, can I get this relatively easy if I was ever inspired to wear it? And if I was, it's gone.
A lot of times the answer is no. Like, I don't know. I always get like the horror stories of people wanting a piece of gear from a dungeon and having to run it for like 10 hours or something.
10 hours, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Let me just like keep this.
You don't know how many times I ran Scala. You don't know how many times I ran Scala. I love those chess pieces.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Again, this is coming from a player who doesn't care about glamour and kind of half-asses his way through all this stuff. But like, if I did really care about it, I would want a simple system for it. And I don't know what they did when they made the core system of this game that made it so difficult to implement that stuff. But fuck that guy.
Yeah, and well, the thing is that you can see now that they're duct taping.
Yeah. Off of like before Realm Reborn.
This is 1.0 carryover. Yeah.
And you know what we need? Next expansion, Final Fantasy 18. That's what we get. They just have a new core infrastructure that's not broken, that they're not repairing the whole time. But that would be asking a whole bunch. Water? Yeah. You want water? What? Oh, okay, I got you.
Chat needs a...
Oh, chat's giving you shit.
Chat's reminding me to hydrate.
Yeah,
you guys should drink a lot of water too.
Drinking water is good.
I'm drinking fancy ass water.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I've been outwatered.
La Cruz. That's what I'm drinking.
There you go.
I spent more money on this water so I can hold it over you.
Yeah. Get down beneath my feet, peasant. Jesus.
Okay, podcast host.
Podcast, fuck you.
Okay, podcast host.
Not a podcast host, I'm a person. All right. So let's go over a couple of questions here, guys. We got a handful of them. I think we discussed everything in the live letter. We kind of bled it for as much as we can for things that we care about. And this is, when I'm making a show about live letter, I'm thinking about, what do we care about? I'm not thinking about let's hit every single point and just drone through every single... the stuff that I care about, I skipped over, if it makes you feel better. I did my best to skip over it. Feast stuff, I did my best, okay? I put you guys through it.
I really wish that I could give you a discussion on Feast that you want, but...
You could, Pook.
I think you know way better people to do that with, so...
Yeah, and so we'll have a conversation sometime in the future about this, I'm sure. It sucks because our PvP show was last week.
Oh, yeah.
And so now I don't want to do it again immediately because I'd feel like we're overdoing it. But we'll
then they gave you all this PvP info. You're going to have to have another PvP show.
And so I'm just pent up, wanting to talk about it. That's a whole different show, though.
I'm sorry. I forgot the one thing on this thing, and I'm really mad at.
Okay, sure.
I am really mad at Shiva statue.
Oh.
There we go.
I didn't add any of that stuff in there because the last 30 minutes of their whole goddamn live letter was merchandise advertising.
Yeah, it's like okay, fine. Shiva statue. That's my rant. That's my rant topic.
I could rant on that for a while. I understand why they do it. And like, I think it's pretty cool that they go in there and they also say, oh, this is what we're changing up about Eureka Cafe and stuff. That affects people in Japan more than it affects me. So I can kind of make sense out of that, but man, I just don't. It's like, cool, I can all these things I can buy for somebody for Christmas, I guess.
But it's December 15th. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Yes, never mind.
You can have it next Christmas. I'll buy it now.
Buy it for next Christmas.
And then it's at FanFest, and then you don't get through the line to be able to buy it. Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Mr. Hilton, I'm going to talk to you, dude. We're going to have a conversation before his next FanFest. Did I tell you about that? Like, Matt and I had a show kind of right before FanFest happened, and I was just like, okay, so if there's one thing that you want to fix and make better this year in this FanFest, what would that be? And he said the merchandise line. And so when I saw what happened at that other FanFest, I felt so bad because I know he was planning and he made efforts to make it not horrible, and then it just turned out the way it did. I'm sure he was pulling his hair out. So I'm going to have a conversation with Mr. Hilton about that. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. All right, here's questions. The first one's actually for me. If you guys don't mind me asking this, it's slightly relevant. This is from ENJOYYYY. Frosty, can I be a dank streamer too? Also, why are you so toxic? Love you, bye. I don't know why I'm so toxic. I think it's the PvP, dude. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I need to give you a list of phrases you're allowed to say.
I intentionally butchered your name, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
that's
really.
what you get. That's what you get. Call me toxic, asshole. All right, Menace.
He is toxic.
All right, Menace for everybody. Here we go. Let's increase this a little bit. This is a little bit longer of a question. Based on the current state of the game, do you feel the producer is hinting more towards Black Mage buffs? What sort of buffs do you think the class needs, and versus what you could realistically expect out of Square Enix? Do you guys have anything on that?
I mean, they basically did good by Summoner, you know, and I feel like maybe they'll try to do the same thing where they give it. I mean, I feel like it kind of needs more mobility because at this point, every fight, we're just seeing everybody say, Black Mage can't do this fight because they have to move too much. And I mean, they can, but you know, that seems to be the constant, like, oh, this fight would be hell for Black Mage. So
I'm afraid they're gonna kill Black Mage. They're gonna homogenize it, and they're gonna stop the whole casting part of it, which is what Black Mages are. They're casting. So if you kill that, what's the point?
I just the only thing I see them really adjusting on Black Mage is maybe a shorter cooldown on triple cast, or maybe a little bit more time on Umbral Ice, Astral Fire.
If I'm thinking about now I'm going World of Warcraft on this. I just remember as a mage in World of Warcraft having stocks that would allow me to cast while moving.
Yeah, a button you gave is next spells you cast or cast while moving.
So you're still casting, but you're moving, and I think you could move slower while I don't know, maybe they just need to be able to do mechanics and still do damage, or you just make them do so much damage that it doesn't matter. They have to stop casting. I don't know.
I mean, that's not a bad idea to make it to where their movement is kind of affected a little bit to where they can still cast and move, but they just slow down a little bit.
They're like the little slow-mo slide while you cast, you know?
Maybe
that would change slide casting a lot right now, I guess.
Maybe some kind of game-breaking barrier they get that says that they can stand in an AoE, but they do less damage based on the damage they take while standing in it.
Maybe. I don't know.
You have to move. You can finish the spell cast. You get hit, you lose some of the damage from the spell cast, but you also don't die.
Yeah.
Just make them completely invulnerable, to be honest. I think that's the solution.
Yeah, why not?
Don't make them the opposite of a machinist turret.
This is from I'm Dead Inside. I love Final Fantasy XIV to death. However, I feel burnt out of the game a lot. How can this you can't reach me, I'm not real? That's the definition of a bad question, guys.
The question started out okay, but
yeah. If you're burnt out, play other games. In the end, that's it.
Cancel your sub.
Play as much as that you want to play. That's literally it. There are so many good games. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people who play the MMO fall into, is that they only play this game and they do not venture out at all. You will be so happy if you venture out into another game and play it. This is a community that you can come to at any point in time. You don't have to be here. And I've had this conversation again. While Final Fantasy XIV, you're not married to it. There's not rules and restrictions to it. You're a free man. You're a free woman. You do what you want. You're free what you declare yourself as. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. And I was just going to add that this last patch is an example of exactly why you can quit the game and come back. Catch-up patches. This is the
Yeah.
this is your months behind on rating patch.
I don't feel bad about not doing relic because I'm gonna find something that will get me at least up to where I want to be without it. So I mean, you're not forced to do these things. That if you're like, oh, it's too grindy, you don't have to do it. Go play Zelda, man. New DLC. Go play Mario. All right. All right. So here we go. Let's see. This is a good question here. Oh my God. Some of these I thought were good questions. Ooh, let's try to get this one. All right. With the new Glamour system wardrobe, do you hope that it allows you to remove job specifics off of the clothes? That's what we just talked about, right? So that any job or class can wear the gear, like White Mage wearing, like White Mage wearing Black Mage or Paladin gear. Would you want to see a Paladin wearing Black Mage gear?
I wouldn't. I'm neutral about that. I wouldn't be opposed to it if they did it, but it's never been something I've wanted.
I feel like it shouldn't be. I wouldn't mind it. I went to a lot of hard work to make an armored scholar back in the day when I played Scholar a little bit, where he was like metal plated armor and pants and everything else. But, you know, that's just kind of how it is. I feel like if everyone's just wearing whatever they want, it just doesn't feel right. If you have 6 black mages and one of them's a tank with a staff hitting the boss, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It kills my immersion.
Well, I mean, we can't have a frying pan weapon because that kills your immersion, so...
There you go. Done. Frosty, you keep saying you're a person, not a podcast host. Would you prefer to be called person? No! Call me Frosty, goddammit. Hey, person! Person!
Person.
Person! Oh, jeez. That will never get old. Alright, how did you guys come up with your stream names? I think I've heard Pook's before. Pook, you can say it again if you like.
This is a nerd answer. I play a tabletop game that I've played for over 20 years called Changeling the Dreaming. There is a type of character you can play in there called a Puka, which is a trickster and a shapeshifter. And I really like them, and people thought I was good at playing them. I started playing Pookajutsu. The Puka are also horses in Celtic mythology. This is one of the places that Pook ponies come from. Anyways.
There you go. And then Spoofy.
Yeah, my name is Sophie. Like, that's my name. And that was taken, so I put a P there. My name is spelled with an F instead of a PH, so people often make jokes like they'll spell like it's Sophie without a P. So I just decided to put a P somewhere else to like
appease them.
Yeah, that's great. Great. Yes.
Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm good at this. I'll be a good dad one day. Okay, and I came up with my name because it's just a nickname I made for myself when I was a kid. That's it. Very interesting story. Right? Right. All right. As Pook played Kingdom Hearts today, and as a discussion on Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy XIV event crossover, what would you want to see in that for Final Fantasy XIV?
That's really hard because I don't know if I want to see Disney in 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Disney is a little too far removed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We joked about it earlier, Mickey Mouse coming down, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to take any of it seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, with bosses though, from like things like Chrono Trigger, that's kind of generic and not really generic, but I mean they're unique and they're interesting in their own way, and I would be happy seeing them in here. It wouldn't throw me way out of the loop. But seeing something that's completely far away from the whole Square Enix universe like Mickey Mouse would be a little bit much.
A Heartless boss would fit in Scape's arena in Dune Sky.
Okay.
Put a Heartless boss there, have us fight it.
There you go. Kingdom Hearts crossover.
There you go. There it is.
Okay. Do you think that they would add more difficulty to crafting gathering game, such as it was in A Realm Reborn? Are we talking about like the gold saucer difficulty?
Or just or more like the fact that crafting was harder in Realm Reborn than it is now?
Yeah.
Because crafting is a lot easier now than it used to be.
Yeah, I never did crafting in a Realm Reborn, ever.
I more so did it in a Realm Reborn, and I mean it used to be like in Realm Reborn when you would like go for the master books and stuff, you were working with like 30% at best, 40% to like get it. So you were just like it got harder. I don't know. Whereas now it's more just like a grindy feeling, I think.
I think I remember a Realm Reborn relic and having to get those really low percentile melds or something at the very end of it. And that was literally the worst thing they've ever done to this game. So I hope they never bring anything like that again back. So there you go. Do you feel Red Mage will ever have a damage increase since it's the weakest of the 3 casters currently? No, should not. That's my opinion. Pook, should Red Mage do more damage?
I'm going to say this. Red Mage is too easy to do the damage it does.
Yeah. I wish there was a way for it to do more damage. I think that they should change the way that raising works and not let you raise as many people as you can, because to me it feels a little ridiculous. But I don't like that their damage feels unviable in a lot of senses. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like their damage is perfectly fine, especially since they can res 3 people. So, like immediately on the whim. I think they have their own spot in progression, and a lot of people brought them. Red Mage exists in progression until the final pull before kill. So, I think they're okay. I can't see anything bad about them.
I haven't seen people like progging with Red Mage recently, though. All I've seen is Summoner.
Well, now that people know the mechanics, I guess it's a little bit different. Before you know the mechanics and you just want to like experience it, you need people alive to do it, and then Red Mage can do that a little bit better than Summoner, although Summoner is a good replacement for it. So, I don't know. Why talk about the damage if there's a damage meter gives for 1 damage so far? A full team can make enough damage. By the way, damage meter into Final Fantasy 14. Yes. That will never stop being said about this game, ever. And as people that have played this game for a while, I feel like that conversation, I don't know. I don't even care about it anymore. It's over with. We have our way to get around the damage meter. If they came out one day and said, hey, guys, we're going to introduce a damage meter, I'd be surprised and happy. But until they say that, I don't even care to even think about it anymore. I've just accepted it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Feast Chat. I've kind of accepted it. It's just there. It's part of the game now. All right, so I think that's good for questions right now. We've hit our 2-hour mark. I feel pretty proud about it, even without Arthas here. He never showed up, never said anything. I think he's either something horrible happened or he passed out and he's just not being woken up. His hamsters can't wake him up.
Just dead to the world. I understand it. It happens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm not Arthars.
It's okay, Pook. You did wonderful filling in for him, and I appreciate you filling in for him. It means a lot to me. Otherwise, it would just be me and Spoofy talking, and, you know, I can get bored.
I'm also sorry I'm not Arthars. Wouldn't that be great? A double Arthars and Frosty podcast?
Yeah, why not? We can do it.
Can you imagine?
All
Arthars yelling at Arthars?
All right, Spoofy now. You want to do your best Arthas impression? Do you have one?
I don't have one.
Oh, come on. It's so easy. It's so easy to impersonate Arthas. All right.
This is bullshit.
What? Summoner!
Summoner!
There you go. You're done.
Whenever I go into Arthurs' stream, and every single time, he always tells people about how the first time he saw my stream, I was dying in Void Arc. He just tells everybody that, and that's it.
Wow.
So that's all I hear Arthur
She's
say.
known as the person that dies in Void Arc.
I was apparently drunk and I'm dying in Void Arc to one of the bosses, and this was like 2 years ago.
Jesus. All right. Well, anyways, I appreciate you guys coming on. Pook, especially, you know, it means a lot that you came on last minute. I know you probably weren't mentally ready to come on, but you're awesome, and I knew you'd be awesome, and that's why I wanted you to come on. So thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. I'm always happy to be here. I'm just glad that it worked out, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so let's do your shout outs though, Pook. Do you have any shout outs for anybody?
Shout out to other people, huh?
People that
Yeah,
people you care about in some sense.
people I care about? Well,
Yeah.
my entire team, the Aethernet.
Okay.
They're amazing people. I wonder I was just wondering where I might have met Sophie before, and that's one of the places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor real quick? Because we didn't really do this, but I feel like we should for sure. Can you tell people about Aethernet?
Me?
Do you want to, or do you want me to?
I think you should, Sophie.
Okay. The Aethernet is a stream team that I created that is a conglomerate of Final Fantasy XIV streamers who are focused on positivity and helping new players and interactivity. And that's our goal. We currently have, I think, 11 streamers on the team with a cap of 15. And yeah, it's a pretty cool group of people.
I wouldn't be fit for it.
Yeah, it's not a toxic stream team.
Not a
toxic team now.
I would be not in the right place there. Okay, very good, very good. Pook, continue to do your shout out. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they're an awesome, great group of people. And somebody in chat said to shout out to Mr. Happy, so I'll shout out to Mr. Happy. Mike's been a good friend. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to the ponies who showed up with the unexpected appearance on the show, and they came and showed their support. I see you out there. You guys are awesome.
Wonderful. You guys are absolutely wonderful. And Spoofy, do you know your pillow makes it look like you have cat ears?
Yes, I do. 700 people, 700 times that has been told to me in my stream. We have a counter, so I'll add one.
Add one. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Can you please do your shout outs, Spoofy?
Shout outs to, my mom and my stream and to Frosty for bringing this together.
Yeah.
And everybody who came in here today.
Excellent. Thank you very much for shouting me out. I always feel sad when no one shouts me out. I'm like,
I got you. Don't worry.
All right.
Shout out to Arthars as well.
Shout out to
Arthars for this opportunity.
Yeah, pretty opportunity for Pook coming on the show.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
Guys, if you'd like to improve your experience here, you might want to visit subs.twitch.tv/frosty_TV.
Oh, God, shut up. I never advertised that. Pook, stop it.
That's why I did it.
God damn it, man. Anyways, Pook, can you tell people where they can find you too?
They can find me anywhere on the internet at the name Pookajutsu. Twitter.
Anywhere.
Twitch.
Anywhere. You go to Pornhub.com.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Definitely over there. That's one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah.
No.
Not a family-friendly stream.
No, not a family-friendly stream, but we're friendly to families.
Yes. Okay. And Spoofy, could you tell everyone where to find you?
On twitch.tv/Spoofy, spelled correctly, right down. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Maybe
Other way. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You got it.
Over on one of those sides. So there you go.
All right. Guys, please follow both Spoofy. Is this Spoofy? I keep thinking
it is. Okay. It's Spoofy. But a lot of people call me Spoofy. I've embraced it at this point,
Okay. Please follow Spoofy here. Please follow Pookajutsu. They're both awesome people. People I like talking to. It's enjoyable to be inside their streams and just kind of sit there and watch them do their thing. And they tolerate things sometimes that I don't know if I tolerate. I don't know. I'd get a little bit salty sometimes. And I think they're actually awesome to talk to. Someone actually checked for Pookajutsu. Oh, God. Guys.
I'm pretty sure my name just got stolen over there now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There you go.
If you enjoyed this stream, we try to do it every single Saturday around 2 p.m. Pacific, if everyone shows up on time. And we have various different topics on MogTalk. And today was just wonderful. We had the live letter just yesterday, and there's just a lot of stuff that we need to vent out and get off our chests. So the next episode is not happening next week, though, because it's holiday time. And I'm not going to be around for holiday time. I'm gone to do holiday things.
We'll miss you.
No,
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't do an episode every single week here on MogTalk just because I'm leading the show, and if I'm gone half the time, there's no way this show's gonna happen. And also there's work and everything else that I do in the background that kind of prevents that. But I want to put on a good show, so I don't try to half-ass every single one that we do. So, anyways, guys. Also, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll be having our rating show. We haven't had a rating show in a while. Maybe we can convince Zeno to come on. We're still waiting on that ultimate clear, Zeno. Come on, dude. I believe in you. And guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you all to viewers. Thank you very much, Andre Kane, for letting me use your music in the intro and the closing of the show. Thank you very much to Blizana for the artwork that's on the show. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Carrara, for the emotional support. And guys, until next time, remember to be good, keep cool, stay frosty. Everybody do your waves.
Way.
Bye, guys.
It's a great outro.